Good evening and welcome to coverage of tonight's match in the Independence Tri-Nation Series. It's a game between Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters and Guyana, and very much a replay of what we saw on Saturday. It wasn't on Saturday, it was on Sunday between these two sides, and we are just watching the dismissal of the first Antiguan batsman. Kofi James has been caught behind by Bramble hooking at Romario Shepherd, and he has departed for 2, and the score is 11 for 1. Kofi James, one of the players who has come into the side. No, he hasn't. He in fact was in the side from the last match, but he has been caught down the leg side by Bramble, the wicket-keeper of the bowling of Romario Shepherd, for 2, and the 11 for 1, and this is the third over of the innings. And Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters winning the toss and opting to bat in this game. It's a crucial game after the first 3 matches, all the teams finishing with 1 win and 1 defeat. And so it's a match that both sides will be keen to win tonight to try and get into Saturday's final. We'll go through the details of the teams in a short while, but we'll just bring in Sir Curtly Ambrose, the former West Indies fast bowler, for his comment on what has happened so far and the prospects for this game. Good evening, Curtly.
Good evening, Jack, and of course, good evening to all the listeners of ABS Radio. And let me apologize for our late start in terms of the commentary, but you haven't missed much. As Jack just alluded to, that Kofi James just been dismissed. First wicket down for Antigua Barbuda.
So Romario Shepherd is continuing. He's on his way, and the new batsman, Orlando Peters, is defending. Just squaring up a bit. Romario Shepherd has bowled well in the first over, especially got the ball to dart around and really troubled the Antiguan opening batsman. And then he got that wicket of Kofi James hooking at a delivery and edging to the wicket keeper. The Antigua Barbuda Master Blasters, how psychologically troubled do you think they are currently after Sunday's defeat? We'll get back to that comment after this delivery from Shepherd as he strides in right arm of the wicket, and the batsman is perhaps pulling the bat inside the line at the last minute, and it's taken by the wicket keeper. So the over has come to an end. We have had 3 overs completed. Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters winning the toss and batting. They're 11 for 1 with 9 to Tyrone Williams Jr., and Orlando Peters is yet to score.
I thought Antigua gave away the game the last time they played here. I mean, having scored 170, I thought that was more than it was a formidable total, and they had Guyana on the back foot with 3 quick wickets, courtesy of Alzari Joseph, and then everything went haywire. 1 or 2 drop catches, guys got bowled with no balls, and I thought in the end Antigua gave it away.
So we're watching a ball which is driven beautifully through the offside, down towards the wide mid-off position for 4 runs. Tyrone Williams getting a delivery from the off-spinner, Stephen Jacobs, and driving it delightfully to the left of mid-off and down to the boundary for 4. He's on to 13. It's 15 for 1.
Beautiful shot. Through extra cover, it was 4 all the way. It was a rank half volley. And, of course, any half-decent batsman can easily put away half volley. I would have done that myself.
Yes, you're quite an accomplished player. A left-handed batsman. Curtly Ambrose. So Jacobs, he was hit for 6 by Williams in his first over. Williams is now turning the ball into the onside. They're hustling the first one. Will they venture back for the second? They won't. The fielder rushing off the mid-wicket boundary overran the ball, but he didn't go too far away from it, and the batsman decided that they won't risk the second. And he overran the ball just on the edge of the 30-yard circle in that mid-wicket region. Score is now 16 for 1. 2 balls gone in the 4th over, 14 to Tyrone Williams Jr. Orlando Peters is on naught. Here is Jacobs in to bowl to him, and he gives himself room, but ball spins into him. He was cramped there. Jacobs bowls a fast ball. He doesn't really flight the deliveries, as we know a lot of off-spinners do. He bowls generally flat, and that one certainly cramped Orlando Peters, who is facing and goes back now, and again he can't get the ball away. The ball just almost cutting into him, almost like a off cutter. And He was again cramped for room, could not execute. The ball just dropping away into the onside. He remains scoreless. The score 16-1. Here is a ball which he defends and steers it away down towards the short third man area. Doesn't get a run. The fielder in that position comes very speedily from the backward point third man area inside the 30-yard circle. No addition to the score. So Guyana with a win in the last match when these two teams met. And they won quite comfortably by 4 wickets. And won with an over and 3 balls to spare, making 171 for 6 after Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters made 170. Here is he going back and slashing the ball away down to point for 4. Now, that was a good shot. He eventually got it off. It was outside the line of the off stump, and he gave himself room, and he cut it beautifully away. Orlando Peters down to the backward point area for 4 runs. It's 20-1 after 4 overs. They're going at 5 per over with Williams on 14 and Peters on 4.
It certainly was a good shot, square of the wicket, and he made that attempt 2 or 3 times previously without success. But I'm just wondering if it's not a little bit dangerous being an off spinner with the ball spinning back into the right-hander. Yes, Jacobs not a big turn of the ball, but being an off spinner, try to play the ball square of the wicket is always an element of danger.
Yes, but he certainly got hold of that. And Jacobs has now bowled 2 overs. And his figures are reasonable in the context of T20 cricket. Well, not so much reasonable. 2 overs for 17 runs. That's a high concession. And here's the ball hit high in the air. It's going down towards the point position, and it falls safely. There was Tyrone Williams going for the hook shot. He was late on it. The ball hustled onto him from Shepherd, and it skied away down to the backward point region. The fielder inside the 30-yard circle ran back. Third man ran in, but it fell between both of them. So fortunate situation there for Williams.
Yeah, the shot wasn't on. It wasn't that short of a delivery, in my opinion. And if you noticed him, Jack, when he came down to the non-strikers end, he was playing that cut shot. Like he was saying to himself, that would have been the better option. And correctly, because Shepherd is getting the ball to swing away from the right-hander. And going square the wicket would have been a better option for Williams Jr. as opposed to a pull shot, which wasn't that short a delivery. And
I got the impression it was outside off stumpish as well. Or maybe just over off stump. Here is he getting a lifting delivery outside the off stump. He rocks back. That's Orlando Peters. Rocks back and allows it to go by to a jumping Anthony Bramble behind the stump. So a bit of pace there generated by Shepherd.
Yes, certainly. And he has bowled well since this is the 3rd over. He has bowled well, got the ball to swing quite appreciably, causing some problems, and his figure suggests that. He's 1 for 4 in 2.2 overs, so he's bowling extremely well, doing a good job for his team.
Yes, and contrasting figures. Jacobs, 2 overs for 17 runs. Shepherd got the wicket of Kofi James, caught wicketkeeper Bramble for 2 when the score was on 11 in the 3rd over. He runs in, doesn't deliver, and the signal of dead ball now comes from umpire Alvin James Knight, doing duties along with Felix Ogis, who's standing at square leg. So the changes to the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters team, 2 forced because of the departure on West Indies duties of Alzari Joseph and Rakeem Cornwall. And Avia Christian and Justin Athenaeus have been left out of the side. We'll tell you the 4 who came in. And this ball is defensively played, and it goes on the onside of the pitch. And it's fielded by the bowler Shepherd following through. So into the Antigua and Barbuda side from the last match, Tyrone Williams Jr., Darren Benter, Vincent Shadrack Jr., and Samuel Peters, the 4 players who came in. Tyrone Williams Jr., Darren Benter, Vincent Shadrack Jr., and Samuel Peters coming into the side. Avia Christian, Justin Athenaeus out, and it's pushed into the offside. Steered away, in fact, down towards the square third man position. They're coming back for the second run. The return fired to the keeper's end. A loud appeal. Umpire Ogis says not out. Well, out. Eventually, he put his finger up, but he stood there for a long time. It was always going to be chancy. The ball was in the hands of the fielder by the time Orlando Peters turned, and he was always struggling. He made a desperate dive, but it was all in vain. He was short, and the return was good as well, right over the top of the stumps to wicketkeeper Bramble, and he removed the bails. So Antigua and Barbuda losing the wicket over Lander Peters, who has played well so far in the competition, played a very good innings on Sunday night when he was unbeaten in the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters innings of 175. He made 54 not out, but he has departed, and the Master Blasters losing 2 early wickets here after winning the toss and opting to bat. Run out by Veerasammy Parmal for 5. It's 22 for 2 in the 4th over.
It certainly was always going to be dangerous, that second run. And like you quite rightly mentioned, Jack, when Orlando Peters turned, the ball was already in Veerasammy Parmal's hand. And Veerasammy Parmal, he's got a strong arm. And the flow was excellent, over top of the stumps. Keeper didn't have to move. And Orlando Peters was always going to be in trouble. Even though he took out the dive, he was a bit short. Umpire took a long time to give him out. But at the end of the day, once that dreaded finger goes up, then you got to be on your way.
Yes, I thought he was not out because he was just there standing. Felix Ogis. New batsman is Devon Thomas, and he plays and misses outside the line of the off stump. So Shepherd here seems to be generating some pace because he was really late on that one. He made a decision to play, but by the time the bat got up, the ball was through to the wicket keeper.
I have to admit, Jack, that since the first game up until now, I find the pitch has got better and quicker over time. So kudos to the groundsman.
So Shepherd runs away from us once more. He's in. And this is whipped away through the onside. He'll get a couple of runs here. It's slowing up and will be pulled back well inside the boundary at that straightish mid-wicket position. And they come back for the second run. So we have had some 5 overs completed, and they're 24 for 2 after 5 overs, with Tyrone Williams Jr. on 15, Devon Thomas on 2. Just before then more Roberts comes in, we'll just let you know that Guyana dropped Christopher Barnwell and Gajanan Singh. Ramal Lewis also out of the side, and Ransford Beaton out of the Guyana team. More from Curtly Ambrose, Sir Curtly, and then it will be Denmore.
24 for 2 after 5 overs. A very good start on the part of the Antigua and Barbuda Masters. The only downside to it is that they've lost 2 wickets, which I'm quite sure they wouldn't want to have lost. But 24 for 2 after 5 is not a bad start at all. It's just that wickets that have lost make a bit of a difference. And again, I would have feel at the moment that they're still in control. As I say, welcome and good evening to Denmore Roberts.
Good evening to you, Sir Curtly Ambrose, and good evening to all our listeners, those who are listening to us via ABS Radio and those who are listening to us on the stream. Finally, we have the stream up. I wonder if it has anything to do with the new guy. Since we got rid of the one we had last week, the stream is now steady. We watch as there is going to be a change in bowler. And so currently what has happened too, the stream has gotten steady and we've now gotten a scorer. We watch, here is this first delivery of a new over, driven hard over backward point, 1 bounce into the boundary for 4. It was pitched up to Tyrone Williams Jr. He just let the bat go. The ball flew over the top of backward point and into the boundary for 4. It rushes on now to 28 for 2 in over number 6.
Very, very good shot by Williams Jr. The half volley was there just a fraction outside off stump, and he went for it with full force. 1 bounce into the fence. I like this aggression from Williams Jr.
Very much so. He's trying to build himself a good innings. Here is he facing up to Paul, and he's playing and missing outside the line of the off stump. He really wanted to repeat the stroke that he did earlier. This time the ball was much closer to him than the one before, and he missed it completely. The ball went through to Bramble, and there is no run. It remains on 28 for 2 in over number 6.
Yeah, he wanted to play that one a little bit too square. Like he quite at the mention, it was a bit closer to off stump. It would have been better trying to hit it through extra cover region with the full face of the bat. But nevertheless, he's still there.
Still there. He faces up now as Paul runs in to bowl to him. This is a delivery that is keeping low, and he's taking off like a hare down the track, but he's sent back. His ear brakes is really working. He really put on the brakes and got back into his crease. I don't know where he was running going because he dropped it into the offside field. There's a man at short extra cover, and the bowler was following through as well, but he was really motoring down. He got out of the blocks better than Usain Bolt at any point in his career. but he also had his brakes on, and he's still there, 28 for 2.
Calm down, Williams Jr. Calm down. Don't get too excited.
Definitely needs to calm down. He faces up now as this delivery is in, and this time he gets the single as the ball drops away into the offside field. It's a throw at the non-striker's end, but they had come through for a leg by. So one more to the extras. That's the first extra of the game. So the total is on now to 29 for 2 in over number 6, the end of the power play overs. So not the swashbuckling start that we saw when Raheem Cornwall hit 29 of 16 deliveries in the last game. But here, a decent start. Here is Devon Thomas hitting this one over the top of extra cover. We'll wait to see what it goes into the boundary. That's 4 runs. It was pitched up to him. Didn't really use the textbook in terms of his feet movement, but he got plenty bat onto it, hit it up into the sky where they said there's no one fielding over the top of the field and into the boundary, and that's 4 runs.
It was well played by Devon Thomas. You know, it was there, and he went for it, and that tells you then more that you haven't. Your feet hasn't got to be in position. It's a bat versus ball. And once you hit it well enough, you will get runs.
He did hit it very well on that occasion. Here is he facing up now, and this delivery is edging it. The thick outer portion of the bat, steering it down to the third man position. Not really edge, but steering it down to third man. Devon Thomas, he gets his 7th run, and the total goes on to 34 for 2 at the end of over number 6. Tyrone Williams Jr., he's on 19. Devon Thomas on 7. They're scoring at a rate of 5.67. So a decent start, not necessarily a runaway start by the Master Blasters, but a decent enough start. They lost 2 wickets, but tonight they have a pretty long batting lineup as well.
Yes, I think it's a great start. 34 from the first 6 overs. It's not a bad start at all, but like I said, those 2 wickets lost would have just dampened them just a little bit. But nevertheless, I think it's a good start in part of Antigua, and this partnership between Williams and Thomas, they need to build on it now and bat as deep as possible.
So we watch as it's going to be, it looks as if it's going to be Pramal who's going to be bowling. The last game he bowled predominantly from the Sir Andy Roberts end. Tonight he's coming from the Sir Curtly Ambrose end, and he normally goes between the umpire and the stumps, just asking the umpire to take a pace back as he moves in now between the umpire and the stumps around the wicket to bowl to Devon Thomas outside the line of the leg stump, and he's swinging this one out to backward square. Good stop by the fielder down on the deep backward square boundary, diving away. Definitely saving 2 runs on that occasion. Looks to be Stephen Jacobs who's out there. Threw himself to his right and really saved 2 runs because Devon Thomas had really hit that one well, and he was only able to score 236 for 2 in over number 7. Here is he again outside the line of the leg stump. Should be called wide and is. The ball drops out of the gloves of Bramble. Bramble must have been watching the West Indies wicket keeper that we had in Test match the other day. The ball just drops out of his gloves. Pramal starts and then stops. This doesn't deliver, so Curtly will refuse to comment on that. I will take it myself. 37 for 2 in over number 7. Here is this delivery on the line of the leg stump, but Devon Thomas is just blocking it back along the pitch for the bowler to field to his own bowling, and there is no run. Should we still be having a discussion, Curtly, in the West Indies about the main wicket keeper based on what we saw in the matches in England? Here's this delivery played away into the offside field, and again can't score. There's a field at short extra cover, and there is no run.
Well, I'm not a selector, and maybe I don't understand cricket very well these days, but I'll give you my comment in a minute.
Here we watch as Pramal is in and Devon Thomas is swinging this one again, but down straight to the man at deep backward square leg. He's on the boundary, that's Jacobs. He has a throw in to the bowler's end, and they're able to come through for a single, 38 for 2.
What I would say then more is that from the stats out of England, one frontline batsman, I think, averaged 6. The wicketkeeper averaged probably 5, but they're still in the team. So, like I said, I don't know much about cricket, so I will leave that alone.
Certainly. Here is this delivery outside the line of the off stump, steered away down to a short third man, and there is no run. You only know about 405 Test wickets. You don't know much about cricket. That's not a lot under the scheme of things. When plenty people have not even gotten to 100. You only have 405. So we guess you don't know much about this game here. You've probably not done well. We don't, you know, because it boggles all of us. The end of the over has come up. At the end of over number 7, 38 for 2. Tyrone Williams Jr., he is on 19, and Devon Thomas, he's on 10.
Very good going so far by Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters. And like I said before, I think that this partnership here should try to bat as deep as possible, because they're scoring quite easily and freely. They're under no pressure. And the last thing that they would want is to lose a wicket or two here to bring Guyana back into the game.
So they definitely wouldn't want to bring Guyana back into the game. The bowler is going to continue from the far end. Had an over before. He says it was Paul. To me, it doesn't look like Chemo Paul, but we'll clarify if that is Paul. Looks a lot like Adams to me, but we will wait and see if the identification is correct. But the bowler is standing there. The captain just having a word with him as he's just looking to make sure that his fielders are in the correct position. Stands in the distance. Begins to move in with a walk and then breaks into a run. He's in and bowls to Devon Thomas, and Thomas is hitting this one hard out to deep cover, who's on the boundary. A left-handed throw comes back to the wicket keeper, and they come through for a single. So one more to the total. It's actually Rutherford who is on, and he bowled the last over. So to me, it's the same bowler who is bowling the second over. The scoreboard has him as his first over, but I think it's the same guy that bowled the over before. Rutherford, it is, as we watch, as he's going to be bowling to Tyrone Williams Jr., who's on 19 of 19 deliveries. So he's had a runner ball in so far. Here is he looking to cut this one away, hits the inner portion of the bat, the bottom half of the bat, and falls away into the offside field, able to come through for a quick single. So one more to the total. It's into the 40s, 40 for 2. We're in over number 8, being bowled. The current run rate is 5.45. Always room for improvement. If you keep wickets in hand, you can always go later. Here is this delivery to Devon Thomas, and he's getting a thick outside edge, and he comes down to third man, the fielder on the boundary. Shepherd has a strong throw back to the wicket keeper, and they come through for run number 41. 41 for 2 in over number 8. Tyrone Williams Jr. goes on to 20. Devon Thomas is on 12 as Williams Jr. comes into strike, faces up to Rutherford. Rutherford is in, a short delivery, and he's hitting it in the air and gets away with it. It was a long hop, and he really almost made a hash of it, Curtly, because he was into the shot too quickly. The ball hit the top half of the bat. It schooned in the air, but it fell safely in the backward square region, and he was able to come through for a streaky single in the end. He goes on to 21, and the total on to 42 for 2.
And apart from that, I thought that was a bit too high for him to play the pull shot. Probably would have been wided had he let it go by.
Definitely. Here's Rutherford in to Devon Thomas, and this time he just eases it out into the offside field for an easy single. And this is what they need to do in these middle overs. Pick up the ones and the twos, especially Devon Thomas and Tyrone Williams Jr., two young people that still have the ability to really run quick singles and run between the wickets. So when the boundaries are not there, they still need to keep the strike ticking over, and that has been a problem for some of the sides we've seen recently, not moving the scoreboard. Here is this delivery outside the line of the house number. Again, a short delivery, and he played a nothing shot again at it. The only thing that can happen with those kind of strokes is that you get out. He survived. The end of the over has come up. Tyrone Williams Jr. is on 21. Devon Thomas is on 13. The score is 43 for 2.
Yes, I quite agree with you, Denmore. And it seemed to be a Caribbean thing. Most teams, if not all, in the Caribbean, especially in T20 cricket and ODIs, always soak up a lot of dot balls.
Certainly they do. Pramal starts a new over, and he struck first delivery back over the top of his head, way over the top for 6 runs by Devon Thomas. It was tossed up to him. He got to the pitch of its full swing of the bat. The ball came sailing back over the top of Pramal into the boundary. 6 runs, good shot, Devon Thomas.
Certainly was a good shot. Shepherd on the long on boundary ran around thinking for a minute that he's gonna take a catch.
Here is Pramal into Devon Thomas, and he's hitting this one high in the air over the mid-wicket boundary for 6. So this time he took it from outside the line of the off stump, but he went through with the full swing of the bat, almost like Tiger Woods in golf, and it went over the top of mid-wicket and into the boundary. 6 runs. The 50 has come up, off 50 deliveries in 34 minutes. Good going by the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blast.
They certainly are. And Devon Thomas is on fire here. Back-to-back 6s of Pramal. And Pramal, who's normally economical, find himself under some pressure now.
He is under some pressure. 16 runs already off his 1.2 overs. And here is Thomas hitting this one. Again, this time it goes out to the long off region. I was looking for a moment on the leg side based on the way he played the stroke. But he got it out to the long off position for a single. So 6-6-1, that's for Devon Thomas. And he goes on quickly onto 26 and the total onto 56 for 2. We're in over number 9, being bowled by Veerasamy Pramal. Here is he in, and this is a short overlength delivery and hit hard by Tyrone Williams in between the two fielders. The fielder coming around from the mid-wicket position, though, gets there ahead of the fielder coming from the long-on position, and the batsmen were able to rush back for 2 runs. Good, strong throw, too, by the fielder coming off the boundary. Had a nice, steady throw back into the wicket-keeper's gloves, and there's no run. We're looking scared because we see the man who had the stream going before making an appearance outside. So we're all hoping or keeping our fingers crossed that he stays there. Pramal starts and then stops, just losing his rhythm slightly. The man who is conducting the stream now, he doesn't say anything. He can't say anything. He has to keep quiet and make sure that he focuses on keeping the stream up. We love him much more than the other shirt that we see outside, the pink one, Curtly. Not calling any name. But here is Pramal, right arm around the wicket. And Devon Thomas, is this Tyrone Williams Jr. hitting this one high and hard over the mid-off fielder, the long-off fielder's head for 6. That was a beautiful shot. Just clearing his legs and hitting it inside out over the top of mid-off. The ball went high into the air and it went long, and that's 6 runs for Tyrone Williams Jr.
Yes.
64 for 2.
This is a big over for Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters. They're really taking it the tack to Veerasamy Pramal.
We watch as this is Pramal into the batsman in Tyrone Williams Jr. and he's bowled. Ball is pretty close to him. He was looking to run it somewhere, missed it completely, Curtly Ambrose. And after playing such a magnificent shot for 6, to get out in that way is very disappointing for Tyrone Williams Jr. He walks back, bowled by Pramal for 29, and the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters, they're now 64 for 3.
It was a terrible shot, or a terrible attempt to play a shot by Williams Jr. Veerasamy Pramal bowling from around the wicket, going to the umpire. So more often than not, the angle is going to be into the right-hander. And it was a very straight delivery. Tyrone Williams Jr. tried to play square of the wicket, seemed to got the inside edge and bowled. Terrible shot, and it was 21 from that over. So he gave it away in the end.
Gave it away, certainly. Wasn't necessary at this time. Could have just even blocked it. Could have just blocked the ball after already getting over 20 runs in the over. All he had to do was play a defensive stroke. Aldwin Walsh would tell you, just play defensively. You've already scored much. See the next bowler with the next over. But again, he just tried to play it square of the wicket, missed it completely. Banging his bat into his pads and all the other things can't change it. It comes down to decision making, and that wasn't a very good decision made by Tyrone Williams Jr. Kadeem Phillip gets a promotion. He's out tonight for the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters, coming in ahead of Kerry Mentor. So that's a surprise, just a change in strategy. Here is Rutherford with the start of another over. Devon Thomas flashes and misses outside the line of the off stump. So we're heading into over number 10. The run rate has gone up to 6.98 per over. So good increase in the run rate. Jack Matthew and Aldwin Walsh stands by at the end of this over. We'll have a double change. We'll have one that says he was a dashing opening batsman, and the other one that was just a batsman. We'll watch as this delivery steered away into the offside, and point, and there is no run. I wonder which one was dashing and which one was... Aldrin Walsh would tell you that he had the first 50 in the 10 overs competition when it was introduced in Antigua and Barbuda, making 55 at the ARG, and he hit one that went right over the top of Andy Roberts' stand. Wonder what had happened that afternoon. Must have been drinking something. Here's his delivery. Driven hard, and Kadim Phillip can't get out of the way, so the batsmen are able just to come through for a single. He was trying to jump out of the way. The ball was hit firmly by Devon Thomas. The ball hitting him on the pad and going out into the onside region, and they come through for run number 65. 65 for 3 in over number 10. Brings Kadim Phillip, the middle order batsman, former opening batsman for Antigua and for the Liberta Blackhawks. When he plays, he comes normally at the top of the innings. A burly figure, to say the least.
That's probably why he couldn't get out of the way.
Yes.
He couldn't really jump, couldn't get that spring in his step.
Yep, that frame was very difficult for you to miss. This delivery short and bouncing over the top there. We thought it was going to be called wide, or scorer has her hands outstretched, but Auguste puts his hand on his shoulder to suggest one over the shoulder there. Thought that the bowling Rutherford might have gotten away with that one. He's back to his mark and turns to bowl to the left-handed Kadim Phillip. He walks and then breaks into a run. Runs in now and bowl, and Kadim Phillip is forcing this one out into the offside field. Hits it straight to the fielder standing at short extra cover, and there is no run. So another dot ball into the books. It remains on 65 for 3. One delivery, legitimate delivery to go in this over. So Rutherford has done well according to a score 1.5 overs. No maiden, 6 runs, no wicket. So it's pretty economical. He comes in now to bowl to Kadim Phillip, gets a wide delivery and should be called wide, and it gets past the wicket-keeper as well. So it runs down to third man. This time, umpire Auguste has his arms outstretched, and the 2 more to the total. 67 it goes up to. 67 for 3. Phillip yet to score. Thomas, who is on 27, comes into strike, and we're waiting in Antigua and Barbuda to see an innings like we saw when Devon Thomas made a double century in a one-day match against Montserrat as a youth player. We're waiting for those days to come back when he really shows his true potential or his true talent. This is down the leg side, fired down, called wide. It was a fast delivery. The wicketkeeper did well, saw it late and then tumbled across, collected cleanly. So 1 more to the total, 68 for 3 in over number 10. What would the total the Antigua and Barbuda team would have in their mind at this time, Curtly Ambrose?
Well, they scored 170 the other night and lost. So
they're going to be thinking a big score. Here is this delivery, cutting back at Devon Thomas, and he played a naughty stroke, didn't make contact. The ball one ran through ran through him into the gloves of the wicketkeeper, and there's no run. 68 for 3 at the end of over number 10. Devon Thomas, he's on 27. Kadim Phillip yet to score. We're going to have a double change. Curtly Ambrose will just give you his thoughts and his final thoughts at this point, and then we'll have Jack Matthew, followed by Aldwin Walsh.
Yes, having scored 170 the last game and lost, they probably will be thinking, to try to get a little more than that if they can. But at the same token, 170 is a good total. They just made some blunders, hence they lost. But I'm quite sure they'll be back of their mind to get as many as possible.
We're going to have a change at this end as well in terms of the bowling, because Ricardo Adams is into the attack, and he will be bowling from the commentary box, or Sir Curtly Ambrose end of the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. So here is Adams, left arm spin, and the left-handed Kadim Phillip is steering the ball away down towards the backward point position, and he's looking for an overthrow. Devon Thomas comes back. The return is fired towards the bowler's end, but Thomas makes his ground, and so 2-2 Kadim Phillip. He's off the mark, and the Antigua and Barbuda total 70 for 3. Master Blasters trying to set the target here. They made 170 in the last match and could not defend that. They'll be hoping to get more than that tonight as Ricardo Adams runs away from us, bowling left arm around the wicket. He beats the bat of Kadim Phillip, was searching for it outside the line of the off, some taking by Bramble. Good evening to you, Aldwin Chalmers Walsh.
Yes, good evening to the Antiguan public. Good evening to everyone just streaming live. Tonight, hopefully set to be a real interesting and keen encounter.
Yes, these two will be hoping to push the score possibly beyond the 100 mark. They will be looking to certainly keep the momentum going. The ball turned away down towards the backward square position by Kadeem Phillip. And only a single for him. He's on to 3. And it's now 71 for 3 halfway through the 11th over. Devon Thomas, who is on 27 from 17 deliveries, comes into strike. And he is a key batsman in the side. Easily the most experienced in the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters team. And he will have to stay there for a long time because he has the ability to score quickly, run between the wickets as well. And he can dictate terms.
Certainly, with his experience and with not the likes of Jimbo Cornwall and Baby Peters have already been out, he needs to stay there and steer the Antiguans to a formidable total.
He gets a single, has to wait on this ball, and played with almost a horizontal bat down towards the mid-wicket position, just waiting on the ball and just almost a sort of half pull into the onside down towards the mid-wicket area for a single. He's on to 28. It's now 72 for 3, 2 balls left in the 11th over. Kadeem Phillip comes into strike with a ring of fielders on the offside. He's in Adams and turned away into the vacant short square leg position, and they'll get only 1. The ball slips from the hand of the fielder. That looks to be Veerasamy Pramal. He was trying to release it very, very quickly, and it slipped from his grasp. So the return was wide of the mark, and it didn't quite get to the mark as either. So, but no run resulted from that. Only the single, 73 for 3. Kadeem Phillip on 4. And with 1 ball left in the over, it's Devon Thomas who will face. Ricardo Adams bowling left-arm spin. Goes past umpire James Knight, and he gets a quicker delivery. Devon Thomas can only defend. Good ball. That was angled in, and the batsman could only play a defensive shot. 11 overs gone, 73 for 3, the Antigua and Barbuda total. So they're going at a run rate of just over 6 per over. And is there a feeling of concern going at 6 per over and at this stage of the innings?
I would not say it's a concern. I think both batsmen are doing the right thing. There's a slight period of consolidation, and what I like about what's happening, Kadeem Phillip is looking to turn the strike over. He looks pretty busy in trying to give the experienced player in.
Here's a chance for him to be caught. Is he caught? I think he is. Yes, he is. So Kadeem Phillip going for the pull shot and skied it towards the mid-off position. The fielder had to run in and make the dive, and he certainly did that. And Kadeem Phillip walks back. The ball hustling onto him. Perhaps the ball wasn't short enough for that pull shot, and he got it high up on the bat, and it lobbed down towards the long mid-off position. And a good catch was taken by Jonathan Fu of the bowling of Rutherford. 73 for 4 now. Phillip caught Fu for 4 of Rutherford. 73 for 4 in the 12th over.
I was just about commenting that, he started well. He looked busy, and he just did not get into position. He stood basically on his guard. The ball tucked him up. He tried to pull it, and it raised on him, and he skied it, and the fielder at mid-off took a brilliant catch, diving.
Yes, Fu, he had to make the dive, and he timed it well, and clutching the ball with both hands. So the Guyanese out cricket has been good so far. We saw the run out there with Veerasamy Pramal throwing the ball right over the top of the stumps to wicketkeeper Bramble to dismiss Orlando Peters, who has been a good performer with the bat so far for the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters. And now Jonathan Fu taking a very good catch at that mid-off position. 4 wickets are down, and Antigua Barbuda Master Blasters can ill afford to continue to lose wickets, because that will, of course, affect the scoring rate as well. So they need a partnership of substance here. Kerry Mento, the captain, has come in, and the ball falls at his feet. Here's a chance for a run-out. The fielder trying to flick the ball onto the stumps. as Devon Thomas ran to the danger end, and he manages to get home. So the Kerimento is off the mark. He's on 1, and it's now 74 for 4 in the 12th over of the innings.
Devon Thomas is a quick feet, nimble guy, but he will be ill-advised to make sure he stays there to the end. Antigua would have lost some 4 wickets, so by the Antiguans, just keeping the crowd alive a little. But certainly it is not enough. They would have to do some work to get up even anyway close to 170. At this point, 15 over and still 95. It's by no means anything to write home about.
Not a big score, but they have 30 deliveries to try and make it right. This first delivery is played square. Kerimento is run out. He was charging down the wicket, sent back by Graham. He turned, slipped the ball, went back into the gloves of Bramble. It is the easiest run out he will have in a long while. Mentor nowhere in the frame. Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters losing another wicket. Kerimento run out Rutherford for 4. They're now 95 for 6 and losing their way.
Yes, there's some panic among the Antiguan team going on. Certainly that was not a single by no stretch of imagination. So I was wondering why Mentor charged down the pitch there, because in my view that went straight to the fielder and there was no reason for any panic of any sort. They need to consolidate at this point. They're reeling at 95 for 6, and Antigua is really in a spot of bother. I must comment that the Guyanese, like I said earlier, they came out with a plan. They're stuck to it. The feeling is impeccable, and the bowlers are really spot on. So Antigua has some real hard work to do for these last 5 overs.
Last 5 overs. A busy little player in Darren Benter has come in to join Owen Graham, and Graham considers himself the entertainer. This is his opportunity to really try and entertain the crowd that has gathered here this evening. Here is the delivery by Pramal, the second delivery of his 3rd over, played away back along the pitch for the bowler to field to his own bowling, and there is no run. So Benter, young wicketkeeper batsman in domestic competition, we'll see if he puts on the gloves this evening, facing up to Pramal, and he gets it that he's turning across and almost over balancing. On that occasion, he was just following the ball with his bat almost into the gloves of the wicketkeeper. Then he overbalanced slightly, but was able to keep his feet on the ground, and there's no run. But he can't seem to read Pramal, so it's still 95 for 6. Pramal is in to Benter, and Benter plays this one into the offside field. They go through for a quick single, and they get it in the end as the stumps are not broken. But that was another almost suicidal run because the ball went straight to the fielder, and they were rushing through unnecessarily, panic setting by the Antigua and Barbuda team.
And they are certainly panicking. That was ill-advised. That is ill-advised attempt of a single. Nevertheless, they got away with it, and they survived to fight.
Graham will face his up to Pramal. Pramal is coming left arm over the wicket, and he's hitting this one out to the long on region, just reaching for it and dragging it out into the long on region. They contemplate the possibility of a second after a slight misfield by the player, but they always tell you never run on a misfield like that. So they stay with 1. 97 it is for 6 in over number 16. 1 delivery to go in the 16th over. Pramal, left arm over the wicket. He's bowling to Benter, and Benter is driving back along the pitch for Pramal to field to his own bowling, and there's no run. So just 2 runs coming from the last 3 overs. So the Antigua and Barbuda team, they're at a stall, 97 for 6. Graham and Benter, they're both on 1. How do they get out of this rut, Audwin Walsh?
Well, at this moment, there is certainly no time for much consolidation. They have to take the chances. 97 for 6 after 16 overs is by no stretch of imagination any score to write home about. And if they are to get up to anything of any concern, they need to play strokes. You and I had a conversation about Graham the first match, and we thought that Graham would have been best served at the top of the innings.
Yes, he's best served right at the top. I was surprised when Kofi James came this evening because I thought that he might have been promoted to the top because I think that's where he's best. Here is he facing up now and he's flicking this one out to backward of square leg. Should be 6. Is it 6? Did it go all the way? 6 runs. That's what we know he can do. If he gets it in the right areas, he can score. And he got that one on the line of the leg stump and flicked it magnificently away for 6 runs. That was a beautiful shot by Graham.
That was a great stroke by Graham. It was more of timing than
brute power. Yes, it was not forceful. It was elegant because it was just on his feet and he flicked it. The 100 coming up of 97 deliveries in 69 minutes. So the 100 has come up for the Master Blasters. What should be the revised total now with 23 deliveries to go? What do you think?
Well,
140?
Certainly 140 would be something to defend. What they need to do at this point is to make sure for the 23 deliveries that they would have at least scored of all 23 deliveries in order to put up some formidable total.
So there was just a slight delay. Paul starts and then stops. He's in his third over, 2.1 overs. No, 1 maiden, 15 runs, 1 wicket. He begins to move in now to bowl to Graham Paul. A slow delivery. Graham waiting for it and just running it down to a short third man position. The fielder moving across to his left does the fielding and they're able to come through for another run. 104 it is for 6 in over number 17. So Graham on to 8 brings Benter onto 1. Benter 2, if he really gets going, can hit it even though he has a very small frame. He can. We've seen him hit it hard and really hit it long in domestic T20 cricket. But this is another level. He's playing against the Guyanese. This is Paul and he's swinging at this one, missing it outside the line of the off stump through to the wicket keeper, and there's no run. Again, just the swing of the bat, not really keeping his eye on the ball. He just picked up the line and was just trying to swing through the line, and Graham rightfully calling him down just to have a word with him and probably just to encourage him, to watch the ball a little more, because at the end of the day, with all that offer, it's still a dot ball.
Still a dot ball.
We watch as here is Paul, comes in to bowl to Benter, and Benter is driving through the offside, gets one. The fielder on the cover boundary comes in quickly as a left-handed throw back to the wicket keeper, so they only get 1. 105 for 6 in over number 17.
I was commenting on Paul earlier, and I felt that he is a thinking cricketer. He mixes up his pace, his variation, and I think that most of the batsmen had trouble reading him all night.
We watch as he's in his third over. He's moving in with a smooth run-up. He's in, and Graham is tugging it out to the long-on region. 1 bounce to fielder on the long-on boundary. That looks to be the fielder there in Shepherd. He has a strong throw all the way back to the wicket keeper and able to come through for a run. So 105 for 6 in over number 17, 1 delivery to go in the over. Being bowled by Kimo Paul. Paul turns and with just a slow and then a smooth run up, he's in. Short delivery and Benter gets on top of it and steers it down to a wide third man and is able to come through for another run. So another run scored, 107 it is for 6. So I'd been saying 105, but it was actually 106. So now it's 107 for 6 at the end of over number 17. 9 is Graham. Benter is on 3. Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters have 3 overs in which to try and post a good score against the Guyanese.
Yes, from here on, the Antiguans, they would have to be going at most deliveries in order to really put up a good score in order to be competitive. 107 is nothing to write home about. The Guyanese should feel extremely pleased of their performance tonight and the way that they would have kept Antiguans at bay.
Yes, they did keep the Antiguans at bay. Not as much explosion as we saw in the last game where the Antiguans got up to what many thought should have been a winning score of 170. Had they taken those two vital catches of Fu and Johnson, might have been a different result. Here is his delivery outside the line of the leg stump. He was looking to swing it away. The ball went into the pads, and he's able to come through for a leg bye. So swinging the bat at it, Benter not making contact. He would have wanted, that was a poor delivery. Should have really put that one away. Didn't make contact. So Pramal gets away with it. Walks back to his mark. Has the rag in his back. As he just tosses the ball from hand to hand. Waits as Graham settles. Graham is ready now. In an unorthodox stance. Here is he. And he's getting down and looking to swing at that one outside the line of the off stump again. Not making contact through to the glove. So another dot ball. So they're wasting some of the deliveries. Yes. They're really going for a big stroke and not necessarily keeping their eyes on the ball. They have big offer, but they're not really connecting. Here is Pramal. Comes in, left arm over the wicket to bowl to Graham. And again, this time he's making contact, but hits it out into the hands of the fielder on the mid-wicket boundary. He takes the catch. That's the end of Owen Graham. Hitting it right down the throat of the fielder there. And probably, Odwin, that we would say that is what he was aiming for, because the delivery before is the same thing. It was caught Paul off the bowling of Pramal. A poor way to go by Owen Graham. We know he was trying to go over the top, but just picking out the fielder in that deep mid-wicket boundary.
A poor way. I thought that the bowler would have noticed what he was trying, and what he did is to slow it down, and he was straying, in my view, to try and heave that over mid-wicket. He did not grab a hold of it. I thought that it would have hit more of the bottom half of the bat, and he held out in the deep mid-wicket region.
108 for 7. So Graham making 9 as he walks back to the crease. I'm quite surprised tonight that the Antiguans left out Athens as we see him doing 12-man duties. We would like to know what was the thinking behind that one. Here we watch as here is Pramal in to bowl to the batsman in Benter, and Benter is hitting this one straight back over his head for 6 runs. So that's a better stroke. The ball coming across him, and he just stood his ground and played it straight, which probably we thought Graham might have done. And this time he hit straight back over the top of Pramal, and for 6 runs. The score has rushed on to 114 for 7 with that stroke.
That was a great stroke. I thought that just as you alluded to, that was what Graham needed to do, to play the ball straight. It was right in the slot for that stroke, and he hit it straight over the bowler's head, over the boundary for 6.
Benter settles as Pramal just tries to dry the ball in his rag. He's now ready, left arm over the wicket. He's in, and Benter gets one outside the line of the leg stump. Should be called wide, and is eventually. The umpire takes very long to make his decisions. He must be an umpire from somewhere in space, because he seemingly moves a second or so slower than the rest of us. But eventually gets it right. He signals wide. Pramal is back at his mark, and he's outside the line of the leg stump. And Benter is hitting this one high into the air. The fielder settles under it, takes the catch. Does Paul. That's the end of Benter. It went high up in the air. Didn't have the distance. It was really high, but it went straight down the throat of Kemo Paul. He settled, took a good catch on the mid-wicket boundary. That's the end of Benter. Antigua and Barbuda losing another wicket. They're now 115 for 8. 115 for 8. Benter going.
I thought most of the batsmen doing the same thing. I think that perhaps he needed to chip into that stroke. Everybody is staying in their crease and swinging. I believe if with the ball tossing up, he needed to chip and jive, he probably would have hit that somewhere on a straighter tangent over mid-wicket, more or less in the cow corner fashion, and he probably would have gotten the result he was seeking to get.
Probably would have, but he really hit it high in the air. If it was flatter in terms of its trajectory, it might have gone the distance, but it was really high up in the air, and it took a while to come down, and Paul settled. He didn't have to move. He just stood at his position, and the ball came right down, literally down his throat, and he took the catch. So this first delivery to Nino Henry, is it? that's on strike. He places into the onside field correction, and sprints through for a quick single to end the over. The end of over number 18. Nino Henry's on 1. Samuel Peters, who has come in to join him, is yet to score. Antigua there 116 for 8. 116 for 8. Not enough as yet, Aldwin Walsh, I would think.
At this point, 12 balls to go. They just needed to get as much runs as possible. 130, 135 perhaps is something to even play for. At this point, their backs against the wall. The Guyanese look very fleet-footed, nimble, and they're enjoying this evening's encounter.
Yes, they are. And it looks as if it's going to be Shepherd who is going to come back to bowl the last few overs of his spell. I think he has, 1 over left. We'll see when the scorer finds his name and gets him up. She does so now as soon as I speak with a flick of a finger. So he has had 3 overs, no maiden, 8 runs, 1 wicket. The electronic scoreboard says he has 7 runs. Well, they will argue that in the scorers meeting. This delivery is outside the line of the leg stump and called wide by umpire Alvin James Knight. Somebody we haven't seen umpiring for a little bit. He's back out in the T20 region.
I remember Knight. Even in my playing days, he was an umpire, and he's still there.
Yes, he's still there. He's been off the circuit, or probably not as popular on the circuit lately, but he's out there tonight doing duties as Shepherd comes around the wicket to the right-handed Nino Henry. Henry's working this one into the onside. Should get 2 and gets 1. Now he's coming back for the second. The batsman, the non-striker, Samuel Peters, a little bit slow in coming back. Look, seemingly slipped as he turned, but he eventually got back into his crease successfully, and they're able to come back for 2 runs. So 2 more, 119 it goes up to for 8, 119 for 8 in over number 19. So, 9 deliveries to go in this innings. Maybe you're correct, Aldwin, maybe 130. 135 is what the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters will have to defend this evening. Guyanese will have less runs to make, but they will still have to get them. Here is this delivery again on the line of the leg stump. The batsman clearing his leg and flicking it out, and then almost creating a suicidal situation where he was coming down the track for a second run. Don't know why he wanted to do that, but he's successfully back into his crease. So 1 more to the total, 120 for 8. 2 deliveries to go in the 19th over. So we're in the penultimate over. Just 8 deliveries to go. Correction, yes, 8 deliveries to go in this innings, being played by the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters. They're coming up against the Guyanese in the ABCA Tri-20 Independence Cricket Tournament for 2017. We just want to say thank you again to Cool and Smooth, Special Security Services, Ministry of Sports, A.S. Bryden and Sons, the agents for Blue Water and Caribbean, and of course we want to say thank you to the management of ABS Radio as well. And we're streaming live on the ABCA's Facebook page. These deliveries worked away into the onside. They get a single in the end, as the bowler didn't field to his own bowling. But had he picked that one up, the batsman could have been in some trouble, because he looked as if he had almost given up when he saw the bowler going across, but then the bowler just didn't get his hands onto the ball, and they're able to come through for the single in the end. 121 for 8, 1 with 3 with. We get 1 delivery to go. Here is Shepherd in, and this delivery is down the leg side, right through the batsman. He was playing a leg side stroke, and the ball going through the batsman, through to the wicket keeper, and there is no run. So we'll get it right. Your scorer, of course, is going to disappear on me once more, thinking that she's going to go and try and sort out whatever little glitch she's having. So I'm going to have to strain these eyes. We watch as here is the bowler down the leg side, a wayward delivery. That was a wild delivery. That was wide and wild. It seemingly slipped from his grasp, and Bramble did well because he tumbled down to his right side to his left, correction. He tumbled down to his left and was able to come up with a save. So, one more to the total, 122 it is for 8 in over number 19. So, we watch as Shepherd comes back to his mark, 3.4 overs, no maiden, 13 runs, 1 wicket. So he's been economical this evening, but he just got away with one there because that was a really wild delivery down the leg side. Here is he coming in right arm around the wicket, and this delivery is struck in the air. Will it fall safely? It falls safely. The fielder coming off the mid-wicket boundary doesn't get there, and the batsmen were able to come back for 2 runs. So it went up into the air from Nino Henry, and the bowler sprinted out, trying to get there. The fielder coming in off the mid-wicket boundary was striving, fell between the two of them, fell safely in the end because it was well away from both fielders, and the batsmen were able to come through for 2 runs. 124 for 8. 1 delivery to go in this over. 1 legitimate delivery, we should say.
For once, I thought that the Guyanese have been overcautious. All night, Shepherd has been bowling real quickly and very economical, and they still have the field widespread for number 10 batsman.
Here we watch as he's in, and this delivery is struck away out to mid-wicket for 4. It was on his legs, and he flicked it away, Nino Henry, and the ball went between the fielder at mid-wicket, a straightish mid-wicket, and the fielder at backward square, and it went into the deep mid-wicket boundary for 4 runs. So welcome boundary for the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters. It's now 128 for 8 at the end of over number 19. Henry is on 10 and Samuel Peters on 1.
Welcome boundary for Antigua. That would have placed the score to some respectability, with some optimism, and they can muster up another 10 or 12, taking the score to 140. They would feel optimistic that they can defend that score.
So they would want to think that they have an opportunity in this match if they're able to post anywhere in the region of, as you say, 140. So from the last 6 deliveries, they would want to get something like another 12 runs or so, well within the capabilities of these 2 batsmen. We've seen them play in the domestic competition, and they're no mugs with the bat, so we would hope that they can, string together a couple of runs here, or the Antigua and Barbuda management would hope that they would string together a couple of runs here and really give the score some measure of respectability.
Yes, very, very important. I see that the Guyanese captain is taking his time, setting his field all night. I am impressed with the way that he marshaled the troops, and it has paid off tremendously for the Guyanese tonight.
Well, he has a man at short third man. He has a backward point. Cover is on the boundary. Extra cover. Mid-off is deep as Paul comes in, and this is a Yorker length delivery. The ball is played down, and diving into his crease is the batsman in Nino Henry. He was coming to the danger end. Paul was giving chase, and he flicked it at the stumps. Didn't hit, so he was able to get home safely. 1 more to the total, 129 for 8.
Diving was inevitable. It was more or less a suicide. Antigua is looking for all the runs they can get, and nevertheless, in the end, he made his ground safe.
Did make his ground safely in the end, and it's bringing Nino Henry, who played that wonderful flick shot at the end of the last over, to pick up a boundary. He can hit the ball, and I heard a caller onto a radio program maybe yesterday morning indicating that he thought that Nino Henry needed to come earlier in the Antigua and Barbuda lineup. I totally disagreed with him, because I think that if he really knows cricket, he would know Nino Henry is really a tail ender. But he can get it done. Here is he getting this one, and he's getting it past the wicketkeeper down to the boundary for 4. It was angled into him, and he got an inside edge onto it. The ball went quickly past wicketkeeper Bramble and came down to the fine leg boundary for 4. So 4 more to Nino Henry, 4 more to the total. It's on to 133 for 8.
Is it that you're saying that Nino Henry, by virtue of batting somewhere around 9 or 10?
No, I'm suggesting that with the caliber of players that the Antigua and Barbuda team has that did not bat the other evening, to suggest that Nino Henry should have been up the order was somebody who doesn't really understand what is going on with the cricket. Here is this delivery played away into the mid-wicket region. They get a single as the fielder comes off the mid-wicket boundary, has a left-handed throw back to the bowler, and so one more to the total, 134. 34 it should be for 8. We'll wait. The scoreboard will flash over in a short while, so we'll just wait for that to take place. So it brings the left-handed Samuel Peters onto strike as he's hoping that he gets something in his slot that he can really swat away. Here is he bowled, missing the delivery, bowled by Kimo Paul. He was coming forward, caught in two minds, not knowing if to drive or if to pull. He played an ugly-looking stroke, and the ball rocketed into his stumps. And that's the end of Samuel Peters. He's bowled by Paul for 2. It's 134 for 9, and it brings out Vincent Shadrack Jr.
Well, I've been commenting all night about Shepherd and Paul, the way they go about mixing the deliveries, varying the pace, varying the line, and wickets are always on the card when any of these two bowlers are bowling.
Definitely. So it brings out Vincent Shadrack Jr. to join Nino Henry, who is at the crease. Nino Henry is on 15, Vincent Shadrack Jr. So it's another seam option for the Antigua and Barbuda team. We watch as Paul comes in, he starts and then stops, and stops. So it's the opportunity for Vincent Shadrack Jr. to settle himself. He's going to be facing, it's important probably that Antigua and Barbuda bat all the 20 overs. Here is he backing away and driving out to the long on region, gets a single. The release is quick from the fielder who's coming off the boundary, throws it back in. The ball rolls all the way down to Bramble. So one move to the score till 135 for 9. Just one delivery to go.
With that strokes from Vincent Shadrack Jr., it tells me that perhaps Nino Henry is a better batter than you.
Nino Henry is the better batsman. You could see from that stroke by Vincent Shadrack Jr. He's a genuine tail-ender, we'd call him. Here is Paul into Nino Henry, and Nino Henry is hitting this one hard out to the long on region, and they're going to come back for the second run, and they're going to get it in the end as Paul didn't take the return. The ball fell from his grasp, and it allowed Vincent Shadrack Jr., who looked to have been running a suicidal second run, to come back and to give Antigua and Barbuda 2 more runs. So it has ended on 137 for 9 at the end of 20 overs. Vincent Shadrack Jr. has ended not out on 1. Nino Henry is not out on 17. 137 for 9. Odwin Walsh, is that a good enough score?
Well, I think Antigua would have felt that they would have gotten some reprieve. Earlier they were reeling at 95 or 97 for 6. And we felt at that point, their backs were really against the wall. So to get 137 in 20 overs is somewhat of a reprieve, and I think at this point they think that it's something to defend. It's all left to be seen. I think the Antiguans have a plan. What I've noticed that they would have introduced or proliferation of seam bowlers, thinking that perhaps that's the way to go. In bowling to the Guyanese.
Certainly. So the Antigua and Barbuda team, and we heard the discussion taking place after the loss, because we understand that it's very difficult for the spinners to grip the ball out there because of a heavy dew that's falling on the ground. So we even saw when the Guyanese were bowling that they had a rag that they were trying to keep the ball as dry as possible. And we understand it's very difficult for the spinners to have control with the wet ball. And the idea is that if you have more seamers who really push the ball through, it's an easier way to control. Hence you see this evening that Nino Henry, Samuel Peters, and Vincent Shadrack Jr. are all in the Antigua and Barbuda lineup.
It certainly must be a strategy of the coaches to think, and from the previous game before, early in the Guyanese innings, they didn't look settled with the pace bowlers.
Certainly didn't look settled with the pace bowlers. We'll give you the scorecard for the Antigua and Barbuda team, the final scorecard. Tyrone Williams Jr. was bowled by Premal for 29. Kofi James was caught wicketkeeper Bramble of Shepherd for 2. Orlando Peters was run out Premal for 5. Devon Thomas was caught off the bowling of Paul for 46. Kadeem Phillip was caught full of Rutherford for 4. Kerry Mentor was run out. That was a tragic run out for 4. He was run out by Rutherford. Owen Graham was caught Paul off Premal for 9. Benta was caught Paul off Premal for 9 as well. And both batsmen playing similar stroke and going right down the throat of Paul. Nino Henry was left not out on 17. Samuel Peters was bowled by Paul for 2. Vincent Shadrack Jr. was left not out on 137 for 9 of 20 overs. Extras 9, 7 wides, and 2 leg byes. We'll give you the bowling figures for the Guyanese. Shepherd, he started 4 overs, no maiden, 19 runs, 1 wicket. Stephen Jacobs, 2 overs for 17 runs. Kimo Paul, 4 overs, 1 maiden, 28 runs, 2 wicket, and he had a wicket maiden as well. Vesami Premal, 4 overs, no maiden, 35 runs, 3 wickets. Rutherford, 4 overs, no maidens, 20 runs, 1 wicket. And Adams, 2 overs for 16 runs. So 137 for 9 after 20 overs. What should be the strategy of the Antigua and Barbuda team when they come out, Aldrin?
Well, with the score of this size, certainly they need wickets, so they need to come out aggressive, in my view. They need to employ tight feeling for the first couple of overs. Put the Guyanese on the pressure, forcing them to make these ill-advised strokes and bring themselves back into this game.
So we'll see how the reply goes. We're going to take a short break, and then we will join you when the Guyanese innings start. They need 138 for victory, 138 after 20 overs. Shepherd, we certainly hope that they reply, and we expect the reply to be as good as it was the other evening. So we'll take a short break from the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, and you will rejoin us at the start of the innings of the Guyanese reply to 137 for 9 made by the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters.
And the ball cleared the boundary by some distance. 6 runs to Rutherford. He's on 10 of 2 deliveries, 16 for no wicket in the second.
Another short delivery from Shadrack Jr. And it's very difficult for a bowler or a captain for that matter. When you've been hit through to the offside, then on the onside, it's difficult to really control. And it was a poor delivery, short, on leg stump, and was put away for another 6.
He's going to change the angle. He's coming around the wicket, rushes in to bowl to Rutherford, and Rutherford is steering this down to the backward point position, but he can't beat the fielder. There is Owen Graham in that position, and the score is kept on 16 for no wicket. Bacchus on 8. Bacchus on 6, correction. Rutherford on 10. 2 balls left in the second over. They're chasing 138 to win the match.
I still believe that you do need a slip in place. You need to give yourself every opportunity to get wickets.
He's in around the wicket, and Rutherford is driving. The ball is in the air. 2 fielders are running back. They won't be able to get there, and they come back for the second. He was trying to hit that one down the ground, apparently, and the ball peeled off the outer half of the bat and skied it beyond the 30-yard circle. There was Benter running back, and there was also Graham running back, trying to get to it, and it fell agonizingly short of them. And they got 2 runs for it. The score is now 18 with 1 ball left. Rutherford is on 12, opening the batting here, and already scoring at a very, very brisk rate. He has 12 runs from 5 deliveries. Here is Vincent Shadrack Jr. from the far end. This Andy Roberts, or southern end of the ground. He runs in to bowl to Rutherford, and Rutherford is driving, but he doesn't time it well. They'll get a single chance for a run out. The return to the keeper's end, and he makes it. A real hesitation there, mix up almost between the two left-handers, Rutherford and Bacchus. Rutherford hit the ball on the offside of the pitch. The bowler following through did not feel cleanly. He mistimed the drive, and he rushed down the pitch. Bacchus was not keen to go, but eventually he set off, and the return came to the keeper's end. But Devon Thomas not being able to effect the runner because the batsman had already gained his ground. He managed to disrupt the stumps, picking up the ball towards the base of the stumps, but there was Bacchus getting home in time.
Yeah, it could easily have been a disaster. Both batsmen could have ended up in the same crease, which would have been terrible for the Guyanese, but Kadeem Phillip was a little bit slow in getting to that delivery and to that ball, and of course the batsman made it home quite easily in the end, but he really certainly was shaping up to be a disaster.
Yes, and all is well that ends well, and that's the case for Guyana. They're 19 for no wicket after 2 overs, and this is the start they wanted. A brisk one in pursuit of that 138. So the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters will have to peg it back very, very quickly. Orlando Peters starts his second over. And this is slashed away down towards the backward point position. It deflects down to the fielder, moving around from square third man. And they go for a single. So a run to Rutherford. He goes on to 14. And it's Bacchus who comes in to strike.
I don't think I like this field placing there, Jack. You got a third man, you got a deep backward point, you got a square cover, an extra cover, and a straightish mid-off, and a long off. I'm not so sure if that's the right field placing because it's going to be difficult to defend 137. Let's be honest here. So you need to take wickets, and having a slip in, one of those guys, you have 4 guys in a circle there. To me, one of them is a waste. You got to put him in a slip and look to get some wickets because it's difficult to defend 137. So you're really on the defensive already.
Yeah. The second ball was driven out to extra cover. No run resulted from it. Orlando Peters is on his way again to bowl to Bacchus, and Bacchus is pushing into the offside, and they get a run, hitting it to the left of mid-off. And they scampered the single. 21 now is the score for no wicket halfway through the third over. Bacchus on 7 and Rutherford on 14 coming in to strike. Now both left-handers and both giving Guyana a flying start. 21 for no wicket halfway through the third over, chasing 138 is certainly more than the required rate at the moment. They're going at a rate of 8.4 knot, and the requirement now 6.69. So they well above the asking rate. Orlando Peters looking for a wicket here, but there is no slip to support, and the ball is driven into the offside. Doesn't quite time it, and it goes down to the fielder at that long off position. That looks to be, is it Kofi James in that position? Yes, I think that's Kofi James at long off. And the batsmen go through for an easy single. 22 for no wicket. 2 balls left in the third. Backus comes in to strike. He's on 7. Rutherford now 15. The target 138. Orlando Peters. A ring of fielders, as you heard from Sir Curtly, on the offside. Here is a ball which is on the legs of the batsman. He turns it away towards the mid-wicket position, and they set off for the run. Kerry Mentor comes in, but he can't prevent it. And an easily taken single carries the score now on to 23 for no wicket. So, as I said, Curtly, they will need to get wickets. There are no supporting fielders close in, catching positions, especially the slip. So where they're going to get their wickets from? They're going to have to be ball or LBW, caught.
Somewhere in the outfield. But you do need a slip. You got to attack these guys.
Peters races in, right arm over the wicket. And he's driving and missing. Ball goes low down to the wicket keeper. We've had 3 overs completed, and Guyana needing 138 to win. They are 23 for no wicket. Backus has 8 and Rutherford on 15.
They're off to a very, very good start, the Guyana team. And immediately putting the Antigua Barbuda Master Blasters under immense pressure. And I think that the captain Mentor and his team really starting its innings in a defensive frame of mind. 137 is a small total in T20 circles. And in order for you to get into this game, you must take wickets. If Guyana bat out 20 overs, they should win and win quite comfortably. You need to take wickets, and being on the defensive prowl, as they are showing at the moment, will certainly not help. And
the fielders are deep as well. So it's a case that once they get it just to the right or to the left of these fielders on the offside, or even on the leg side, because there's a straightish mid-wicket now in place, and the mid-on is some distance back, they're likely to get a run. And you're going to have the boundaries going to come. You know, the boundaries are inevitable in T20 cricket.
Of course.
At some point they're going to come. So it's going to be easy going for the Guyanese. So, we're watching now as Peters comes into the attack, and this ball is pulled away down to the square leg region, 4 runs. Much too short, replacing Shadrach, who's opening over, conceded 13 runs, and Peters has started with a short delivery, and the left-handed backer said, "Thank you very much," and he pulled it forward of square, down to the boundary for 4.
Very, very poor first delivery on the part of Peters. Was banged in short. Well, I wouldn't even say banged in. He just put rested on the turf, really. He sat up quite nicely, midriff, and was pulled away for 4.
He comes in now, bustling approach, and it's steered into the point region by Backus, getting a ball outside the line of the off stump, just easing the ball, just opening the face of the bat down to Bent in that position at backward point. 27 for no wicket. We're into the 4th over of the innings. Backus is on 12. Rutherford on 15. Remember Backus used to play for Guyana and the West Indies?
Floyd Backus, I think his name was?
Yeah, Floyd Backus.
Floyd, that's correct.
Floyd Backus. Here is a ball which is pulled away, and it's gone. I think it has gone over the rope as well. Yes, it has. It has gone away for 6. It was another short delivery, and Backus just went back and just pulled it over the top of the straightish mid-wicket position, and it has gone away for 6. So the runs are coming at a very good clip here. 18 to Backus, and it's now 33 for no wicket in the 4th.
Both Backus and Rutherford are in a no-nonsense mood. They want to finish this game as quickly as possible, and of course that will help improve the net run rate as well, if they can win this game with overs to spare. And that shot was an extremely good shot, sort of played with a little bit of contempt, I could add, Jack.
Yes, it was certainly hit disdainfully. Here is Samuel Peters, and the batsman is punching it nicely down to the mid-off position. There's a flourish about his batting. Bacchus, he pinned onto the back foot there, and he played with a lot of flair, hitting it nicely down to the mid-off position. Couldn't get a run for it, but the ball certainly travelled sweetly from his bat. He's on 18. Sherfane Rutherford is on 15. Now, Fawad Bacchus, I remember in the very first one international played here, that was before your time. So currently, 1970.
If you're going to talk about hitting a six and step on a stumps,
oh, yes,
I was there.
You were right there. Here's he driving and beaten outside the line of the off stump. He was reaching for that one. It wasn't a good-looking stroke at all from Robin Bacchus. It was a ball up to him, and it left him a little bit, and the left-hander was playing with the feet away from the bat away from the feet, and he went through to the wicketkeeper Devon Thomas. Yes, he hit a six in that one international.
Stepped on his stumps.
And he stepped on his stumps.
Yeah, I was there. That was my first international as well.
Yes. This ball is driven into the onside, goes down to the mid-on position. He can't get a run for it. And that's the last ball of the fourth over. 33 for no wicket. Robin Bacchus on 18 and Sherfane Rutherford on 15. And that was the very first one international played in Antigua back in 1978. And it was if you call, a Australian B team, because that was the height of the Packer
era. That's correct.
Packer era.
That's correct.
And there was some confusion about the selection. Some of the players from because they were playing for Packer. There was a contractual dispute at that time, so Bobby Simpson had to come out of retirement to lead the Australian side.
Team, yeah.
And it was Desmond Haynes, his one international. He made 148 not out.
That's correct.
Yes.
Started off a little shakily against Jeff Thompson Company.
Yes.
And then got into stride. And that was my first. As a matter of fact, my mother was the one who forced me.
Gave me
the money, go and watch cricket. So it was my first international.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was the first one international in Antigua too, right? Yes, that was the very first. Yes, it was. It was.
Okay.
It was the first one international.
Okay.
And then the following year, they had a super test with the same Packer series.
Correct.
Coming to the Caribbean, and Clive Lloyd and those guys played at the Antigua Recreation Grounds. Mm-hmm. So that was Fawad Bacchus.
Yeah.
In that one international, and then
stepped on his stump.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
And he was one of those short-leg specialist fielders too, eh? Fawad Bacchus, yes, he was a specialist fielder.
He was specialist, got a short leg position. Jack
he was a very good catcher.
Well, yeah, some guys have done it very well. Yes, yeah. Some guys have done it very well. But it's a position that always.
You have never fielded there.
No, I was never. I'm too tall.
It was dangerous.
I'm too tall.
And there was no helmet.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's a difficult position. It's all about reaction time because you have no time to react really.
I'm talking about Desmond Haynes. He was there when he came into the team.
He was there for a while. Yeah. Jimmy Adams was there for a while during my era.
Yes.
So Phil Simmons done it a little bit as well. So
right.
A few of the guys, but it's a dangerous position, really. Probably the worst. Well, of course, got silly mid off as well.
Yeah, silly mid off.
Which is occasionally, but a bat pad, or short leg. That is no.
You had your role to run in and bowl fast.
That's right,
and that's what you did.
I go to find like a third man and cool out.
So we're going to have a change because Kofi James, the spinner, has come into the attack. So we'll have spin from this end for the first time in the Guyanese innings. They're chasing 138 to win the match. They're 33 for no wicket after 4. So Kofi James is on his way. And here is a ball driven into the offside by Rutherford, but he can't get a run for it. He's on 15 from 10 deliveries, going back and trying to get it through the offside field and hit it particularly hard. He's back now and he's trying to hit this as hard as he can, and it does. And I think it has gone away for 6. Yes, it has. So it was a short ball and was asking to be hit, and Rutherford obligingly hit it over the top of extra cover. And it's gone away for 6. And Guyana are beginning to look as if they're going to make this a very, very easy run chase. It's now 39 for no wicket in the 5th over.
It certainly looks that way. And I have to admit that the bowling so far for the Antigua Barbie, the Master Blasters, have been very, very ordinary. No trouble at all for both Rutherford and Bacchus, I beg your pardon. They're scoring quite freely.
Kofi James is in. He's bowling around the wicket. Much better delivery in line with the stumps, and the batsman defends. It rolls back along the pitch for James to pick up. Rutherford on 21. Now from 12 deliveries with that 6. Settles over his bat. The two openers are left-handers. Outside the off-stump and cut away down to the backward point region. The ball is fielded there by Graham, it looks like, or is it Benter? I think it's Benter. Yes, Graham is at the backward point position. Ring of fielders on the offside, and here is he just turning it into the onside this time, down towards the short fine leg area, looking for a single, but it's not on. Fielder coming in quickly to do the work. It remains on 39 for no wicket. 1 ball left in the 5th over of the innings. Kofi James is the man. He's bowling around the wicket, and he gives him the charge and hits it. Gets it through the onside. Diving effort there by the fielder, captain Kerryman, toward that square leg region. And the batsmen did not, did they cross? Yes, they did cross for a single. So they're going at what? At 8 per over, 5 overs gone, 40 for no wicket is the Guyanese total. The target is 138 to win the match, 22 to Sherfy in Rutherford. Robin Bacchus has 18. We have more from Secretary Ambrose, and then to continue the ball by ball coverage, it will be Denmore Roberts.
Not very good showing so far by Antigua and Barbuda, the Master Blasters. The bowling at this point, at the end of 5 overs, has been very, very ordinary. No threat at all to both Bacchus and Rutherford. They're scoring quite easily, quite quickly. No trouble, and wickets are going to be the key here, because it's going to be difficult, and I've been saying that all along. It's going to be difficult to defend 137. Wickets are going to be key here, and so far the Antigua team has been in a defensive mood and not even searching to get wickets. If they continue like this, they could lose this game quite easily. Good evening, Denmore.
Thank you very much, Sir Curtly. The captaincy has been lacking in the first 5 overs of this game. They're all over the place. They're all over the shop. Nobody's bowling to a plan. The bowlers just seem to just be running in and bowling the ball, not sure what plan they're bowling to. And then the captain is all over the place as well, not necessarily having things together, because we saw him giving Kofi James an over just now, and I'm not sure what that one was all about. And so again, he just needs to settle down, get his act together, get his troops together. The body language of the Antigua and Barbuda players also looks a bit negative. If you look at the fielder standing at backward square there, he kind of just looks, like he's already lost, like he's not sure what's going on out there. They have to change things around. They're going to have to, get a positive attitude and look to, as you say, buy a wicket or two and look to get back into this one. Owen Graham is going to be the new bowler, and his first delivery is struck hard over the extra cover field for 4. That was a beautiful shot by Rutherford, just stepping forward and driving this one right over the top of Kadeem Phillip. He did a fake jump as if he had an opportunity to stop it, but the ball was hit very hard and very powerfully over the top of the field and into the boundary for 4, 44 for 1. And as you see, so currently, if it continues like this, it's going to be an early night for the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters. Not looking very Master Blaster-ish as we watch. Graham, with his first opportunity to bowl in this tournament, is in, and he's coming down the track and swinging his Rutherford. He's now getting a little bit overconfident because he's realizing that the bowling is not very threatening by the Antigua and Barbuda team, and he's now looking to try and just maybe hit them out of existence.
Yes, you've got to be careful, because you don't want to really lose a wicket now, because if you do, who knows, could use 2 or 3.
Yes, one, they say 1 would bring 2, and 2 would bring 3, so we watch as Graham starts and stops. He has a man at short third man, a man at backward point, then there is point. Cover is on the boundary, extra cover, long off, mid-on, a man at straightish mid-wicket, and a man at short fine leg. Down the leg side, called wide by the umpire. This time, umpire Geese swings his arms open quickly. That's the first time we've seen that this evening, because normally he takes his time and does his thing. But this time it was very clear down the leg side from Graham. He's back at the mark, comes in off a few paces, in, and this delivery. Rutherford is blocking it, looking to play defensively, but he times it well, so it goes out to the mid-off region. The fielder coming across from mid-on, does the fielding, one more to the total, 46 without loss. Bacchus is on 18, Rutherford is on 27, so they're going well, Sir Curtly?
They certainly are going well. Easy pickings at the moment. No threat at all from any of the Antigua Master Blasters bowlers. And it's just really like a walk in the park for the Guyanese.
Really, looks like a walk in the park for the Guyanese. We watch as this is Graham off a few paces, is in, and this delivery is played defensively. Picks up a dot ball, as this time it's Bacchus who's coming into line and just played the ball down in front of him, and there is no run. So he's on 18 of 16. Rutherford is 27 of 18 as Graham, Owen the entertainer Graham they call him in Antigua and in softball cricket. This time he's entertaining the crowd as he bowls a long hop and is pulled away out to backward square. The fielder does well, gives chase and flicks it back just inside the boundary, and the batsmen were able to come back for, was that 2 or 3? Looks as if it was 2 runs, so 2 more to the total. 48, it goes up to 48 without loss, as the Guyanese, they need another 90 runs for victory. So they're moving along pretty quickly, and we're in the first 6 overs. We're still in the power play. So only 2 fielders allowed outside the 30-yard circle. This is Owen Graham. He's in. There's a quicker delivery outside the line of the off stump. The batsman was looking to play it square of the wicket. Doesn't make contact. Through to wicket keeper Devon Thomas it goes, and there was no run. 48 without loss at the end of over number 6.
The bowling at this point, Demo, looks very, very ordinary. It looks a different bowling lineup without Alzari Joseph and even Jimbo Cornwall, who's pretty good at his off spin. And it's really amazed that the bowling is so shabby, really, to be quite frank. No threat, nothing. And the Guyana team are just merrily on their way without any, they're even breaking a sweat.
Yes,
runs are coming in abundance.
Yes, the runs are coming pretty thick, quick and fast, as the runs come quickly, as they've rushed on to 48 in the first 6 overs. So they're scoring at a rate of 8. My math is really great this evening. So they're scoring at a rate of 8 after the first 6 overs. Kadim Phillip is going to try his left arm orthodox spin. He pushes the ball through quite a bit, but he has one problem. Once he's bowling, if he bowls 4 dot balls and he thinks that nothing is happening, he normally tries something. He would loop one, do something that would cause the batsman to probably hike him somewhere out of the ground. We'll see if his attitude is different now that he's representing Antigua. His first delivery on the line of the leg stump, the batsman working it into the backward square region, and they pick up a single. So 1 more to the total, 49 without loss in over number 7, being bowled by Kadim Phillip of Liberta Blackhawks and Antigua. We watch as it brings Bacchus. And Bacchus, they say in Guyana, is an aggressive batsman, one that they say can play the shots, but he normally does not stick around long enough. Here is Kadim Phillip with a loud appeal as this ball is going into the pads of the batsman in Bacchus. The ball going into the onside field. Did the signal come from the umpire? Leg byes. So just the leg by, and it was going down. The 50 has come up. The partnership of 50 partnership of 38 deliveries in 31 minutes. Here is Kadim Phillip in, and this delivery struck hard out to the long on region. He's out caught. That's the end of the batsman. Is that Bacchus? That is gone. We'll find out which of the 2 left-handers. Rutherford seems to be the one that has perished, but Kadim Phillip has done the trick. He flighted that one to Rutherford. Rutherford tried to clear the fielder at the long on position, hit it straight down the throat of Orlando Peters. He took a simple enough catch. It's 50 for 1, and Kadim Phillip getting the breakthrough for the Antigua Barbuda team. Rutherford goes for 28.
Yes, a welcome wicket. because that's exactly what Antigua and Barbados, the Master Blasters, would have wanted, because both Waterford and the Backers was going so well. You know, they need a breakthrough. They got it, you know, from Kadim Phillip. Of course, with help from Orlando Peters down the long on boundary. And could this be a start of a slide, or can Leon Johnson, the captain, who just come to the crease, can do the repair job?
Well, Johnson is a former West Indies player. We can say former because he's been out of favor recently. But he was the West Indies opening batsman and as a matter of fact, the West Indies number 3 batsman in recent times. So he's coming in, the Guyanese captain for this evening. In the first match when they lost to Jamaica, he came in at 4. Since then, he's come at number 3. Had a cameo innings the other night against the Master Blasters here. Was dropped early on and then went on himself and Jonathan Fu to set up that victory over the Master Blasters, chasing down what was considered a big score of 170, getting to 170 plus in 18.3 overs, I think it was, the other night. So he's an important factor here. What can Kadim Phillip do? He's staying left arm correction over the wicket to Johnson, and Johnson gets a short of a length delivery. Was looking to turn it away from the fielder on the inside, hit it straight to the fielder, a short backward square, and there is no run. Kadim Phillip would be advised. I can hear his brain thinking. He's thinking of pushing one through at Johnson. Here is he giving him one outside the line of the off stump, and Johnson steering it out into the offside field. Again, can't score. Good bowling this by Kadim Phillip thus far. Just a run coming off of his 5 deliveries so far. He's also gotten a wicket. So he just takes the rag out of his pants and he's trying to fit it back in as he tosses the ball from hand to hand and then comes in to bowl to Johnson. Another good delivery. Much too close for Johnson to cut. He's able to squeeze it down to that backward point position and there's no run. 50 for 1 at the end of over number 7. Bacchus is on 20. Johnson yet to score.
Very, very good first over by the burly-looking Kadim Phillip. Really got the breakthrough for his team. And another wicket or 2 here could swing the momentum back to the Black Hawk, to Antigua and Barbuda, the Master Blasters' favor. But it's going to take a lot of work because there's not too many runs on the board to get. And wickets are going to be so crucial.
So they've switched around Kofi James. He started from the Sir Curtly Ambrose end. He's now switched around to the Sir Andy Roberts end, which means that he's coming from the southern end of the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, the end where we normally have the greatest population. That's the end where the entrance is and the folks come in, and even when we have regular domestic cricket and or regular regional cricket and the few of us come, that's where we normally sit in that south stand, because on the northern side you're very far away. We're far away. We're over far over on the north side, and we're about 3 stories up. So we're high up in the air and far away from where the folks are. But then Chris Curtly, some real discussion go on over there in that south stand, especially those folks that sit just on that little eastern end there as we look at it. They have some serious cricketing discussion. Kofi James is in with the start of a new over. The ball is turned away on the onside. They come through for a single. Throw goes to the bowler's end. The batsman is able to get through quickly. So Bacchus gets another run. He goes on to 21. Brings Johnson, who's yet to score, off 3 deliveries onto strike. 51 for 1. And so currently, they either love you or loathe you over in that little section there. If they love you to death. If they hate you, trust me, you don't want to be in that discussion point over on that far side. Kofi James stands there. He's coming around the wicket to the left-handed Johnson. Sir Curtly has a broad smile. What do you think they say about you over there, Sir Curtly? We'll watch it, wait and see. And this delivery is a bad delivery down the leg side, but he gets away with it as Johnson swept the ball, but swept it straight to Vincent Shadrack Jr., who was tumbling down at that short fine leg, and there was no run.
Well, I've been over there quite a bit, whether it's international cricket or local cricket, because I support. And I've got some nice reviews from the guys over there. Keep telling me I got to come out of retirement, so I'm quite safe.
Oh, you're quite safe. I am not so safe over there. Here's this worked the way out into the onside, and they get a single as the fielder coming in off the deep mid-wicket boundary. That looks to be Nino Henry. He's in quickly, has an on-the-arm throw back to Kofi James, so one more to the total. 52 for 1 in over number 8. As Kofi James just off of a short run up is in, and this delivery is driven straight to Kerimento at a short extra cover. There is no run. The applause goes up from all the fielders for the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters. The body language looks a little better since the fall of that wicket. Kofi James is in, and Johnson is coming forward and nudging this one into the onside. We'll get an easy single as there's about an acre of space in that short mid-wicket region, because both fielders on that side, they are on the boundary, and Shadrach having to move from a short, fine leg to do the fielding. Kofi James is in quickly. This delivery, again, the batsman is working it, and good running and good cricket on the part of the Guyanese, just looking to work it into the offside and onside and look to get the single. You could see that they were looking for it, because he just nudged it into the offside and they were off in a flash. 54 for 1 at the end of over number 8. Bacchus is on 22, Johnson on 2.
A much better over by James. After a terrible first over, came back quite well in the second over and kept it kind of quiet and kept it tight. But there's no rush on the part of the Guyanese. They're scoring quite freely, easily. They're way ahead of the run rate at this point. So there's no need to do anything rash and keep losing wickets.
Certainly, they don't need to. Kadim Phillip will start a new over. His left arm over the wicket, having the batsman covering up both feet together, just getting that bat in the way and letting the ball hit it and run back along the pitch for Kadim Phillip to field his own ball in. There is no run. Phillip is in once more, and this time the batsman is looking to pull it out to backward of square. It beats the fielder and goes into the boundary for 4. So just when we thought that Kadim Phillip had his line correct, he tried something, strayed in line, and the batsman was able to help it around past the backward square fielder and into the boundary for 4. 58 for 1. Bacchus goes on to 26.
Badly line delivery on the part of Phillip at this time. Short, leg side-ish, and was pulled away very hard behind square. The man on square leg boundary had no chance. He sprinted for all his worth and couldn't get there.
Couldn't get there. Phillip is in once more. This is delivery that is hit hard again past the mid-on fielder, the long-on fielder, into the straightish mid-wicket boundary. That's 4 runs. It was pretty much into a wide long-on. It was tossed up to Bacchus, and he just stepped down the track and went with the flow and hit it hard. The fielder at that long-on position just looked across to retrieve, because that one was struck beautifully with timing, and Bacchus is moving on quickly. He's on to 30 and the total on to 62 for 1. Here is Kadim Phillip coming in to bowl to Bacchus, and Bacchus is forward, and this time just works it down to the long-on region where the fielder, Kofi James, is pulled off the long-on boundary, has an on-the-arm throw back to Kadim Phillip. 1 more to the total. It's on to 63 for 1. Bacchus is on to 31, so they require 75. So they're well ahead of the DL par score. Don't know what that means. She's going to tell me Duckworth Lewis, but I hear that it's now Duckworth Lewis and somebody else. Every day they add on a new name. Every time they get it wrong, they add a new name to it. This delivery is played out into the offside field. Can't score. 63 for 1. We're in over number 9. Jack Matthew is somewhere in the distance. Curtly Ambrose, did you know I worked my first magic trick the other evening? I'll tell you about it after this delivery from Kadim Phillip. This delivery is outside the line of the off stump, and backing away and looking to cut is the batsman in Bacchus. Doesn't make contact. It went into the gloves of wicketkeeper Devon Thomas to end the over. 63 for 1 at the end of over number 9. I asked Jack Matthew his age, and he disappeared.
Why did he?
I have no idea. It was his birthday on Sunday, and he was looking all dapper and thing and in here. And I said, when is your birthday? He says, today. And I said, hey, Jack, what is your age? And when I looked back, there was no Jack Matthew. He was gone.
But there's no shame to say your age. I mean, even though he's 64, nothing is wrong with that. You know.
He's been around for a long, long, long time.
Oh, dear.
Jack Matthew, 63 for 1. It is at the end of over number 9. So the Guyanese are progressing steadily. They're looking to overhaul the total made by the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters. They require another 75 runs, Curtly Ambrose. And apart from that one wicket from Kadim Phillip, the bowling for the Master Blasters has not been penetrative. You watch as this is Kofi James is in, this delivery again, worked away into the offside field, and they're going to get a single. The throw comes in, hard throw. Kofi James just sticks out that arm and knocks the ball down. And the batsmen were always going to get that single because the Guyanese, they've worked it out. They've worked the plan out. They're dropping the ball. The fielders are pretty deep. They're dropping the ball on the offside and taking off leisurely for that single. We watch as here is James in to bowl to the batsman. Is a loud appeal and the umpire remains unmoved. He says not out. The bowler can't believe as that looks to be, is that Bacchus? Bacchus was coming forward and playing across the line of what looks to be Johnson. Is that Johnson? Yes, because looks a little rounder than Bacchus. So that's Johnson facing. Johnson gets away. Kofi James was very disappointed. Thought he might have had his man. But the umpire O'Geese had other ideas. He says not out. So Kofi James will have to try once more. Here is he. Right arm around the wicket to Johnson. And Johnson is edging it past the fielder at short third man into the boundary for 4. Kadim Phillip just gives chase to retrieve. As he was flashing at it, the ball took a thick outer portion of the bat, flew down to the short third man and into the boundary for 4. Johnson is on 6. It's now 68 for 1.
I guess that's what you called adding insult to injury. A loud appeal for leg before, which was turned down, and then the very next ball edged away past the short term for 4. Kofi James is under a bit of pressure here. So the Antigua and Barbuda, the Master Blasters.
Yes, they are. Here is James in, and this delivery swung away out to backward of square for 4. So Johnson just coming down on one knee and swinging the ball around past the field at backward square. He looked around as if to say, who is behind of me to give us back that one, and the ball sped into the boundary for 4. It's 72 for 1, and the Guyanese, they're motoring on. Bacchus is on 32. Johnson has gone on to 10.
The bowling has been very, very ordinary. Some good batting on the part of the guy in the team, to be honest, but the bowling is very ordinary.
Very good batting. Here is this delivery. He's coming forward and playing it defensively. Kofi James skips across the pitch to do the fielding, and there is no run. Brings up the end of over number 10, 72. The score is for 1. Bacchus is on 32. Johnson is on 10. The partnership is 22. The Guyanese, they require another 66 runs for victory. After more thoughts from Sir Curtly Ambrose, it's going to be Aldwin Walsh and Jack Matthew.
Very, very good going so far by Guyana. They're really motoring along nicely, under no pressure whatsoever, scoring quickly. The running has been extremely good, coupled with the boundaries, and the Antigua and Barbuda Blasters need to pick up some wickets here. If they can't do that, then this could be game, set, and match in favor of Guyana.
Yes, Guyana very much in the ascendancy, and they just have to go at an ordinary pace. They are operating right now in excess of 7 runs per over, and they need to score below 7. That's the requirement at the moment, 6.6 not, and so they're very much on course for a second victory over the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters. We're going to have, it's going to be Owen Graham who will pick up the attack from this, the commentary box end. His first over, he conceded 8 runs, and he will bowl to the left-handed Leon Johnson, the Guyana captain, who is unbeaten on 10. Bacchus has 32, and Owen Graham just asking the fielder in that fine leg position, Vincent Shadrach, to go a few paces away to his left. So here's the medium pace of Graham, and it's pushed into the offside, goes straight to Kerry Men toward extra cover. And the score is kept on 72 for 1 at the start of the 11th over of the innings. The only wicket to fall was that of Sherfane Rutherford. He was caught by Orlando Peters of the bowling of Kadeem Phillip for 28 when the score was 50 in the 7th over. Ball hit down to the long on position, and Peters took a catch just about head height. Aldwin Jama Walsh is back with us. And a situation here where Guyana are in the driver's seat and looking to win for the third time, for the second time in the competition, and this is their third match. Here's a ball pushed into the offside. They get a single. That's falling short, well short of the fielder at extra cover. Kerry Mentor, just a drop into the offside, and Mentor having to go to meet the ball, and there was enough time for the batsman to cross quite comfortably.
Yes, Guyana motoring on, and they're playing quite sensible cricket at the moment, and if they continue in this vein, certainly would be win number 2.
So here is a ball which is hit in the air. It's going down towards the mid-off position, but Orlando Peters can't get there in time, and the ball falls well short, and they cross for single. It's looking to hit that perhaps, I think, through the onside, and it hit the leading edge of the bat and went down to the to the long off area, but falling well short of Orlando Peters. They got a single for it, 74 for 1 now, halfway through the 11th over of the innings. So Bacchus on 31, Johnson the man on strike. He's steering it down towards our third man. Fielder Kadeem Phillip around from the backward point position to pick the ball up, and the batsmen go through for a comfortable single. 75 for 1 now, 2 balls left in the 11th over. And Johnson, the Guyanese captain, was on 14, Bacchus on 31. They opened the innings with Rutherford, and they carried the score up to 50 before the first wicket fell. Clipped away down to the short fine leg position, Shadrach having to move away to his right, and the batsmen are through for the single. So even if the boundaries are not going to come, Guyana realized that the singles can very much do it. They will be the odd boundary, and that would be enough to carry them over the line.
Certainly. They seems pretty contented in picking the 1s and the 2s, and it's working.
Graham is in, and it's steered down to third man, just opening the face of the bat. Johnson, and steering it down to the third man position. The last ball of the over. So Johnson is on to 15. Bacchus has 32. And Guyana chasing 138 to win the match. 77 for 1 after 11 overs. Rutherford dismissed for 28 when the score is on 50 in the 7th over. Earlier, Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters winning the toss and opting to bat 137 for 9. 46 came from the bat of Devon Thomas, the West Indies player. He had 31 deliveries and struck 4 sixes and 2 fours, was going very, very well before he offered a catch to long on, and he departed for 46 at a phase when Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters needed for him to stay and carry them to a much bigger total, because with the bowling as it is deficient, with the absence of 2 key bowlers in Rakeem Cornwall and Alzari Joseph, they needed to have a big score to really give themselves a chance, but that was not to be.
Certainly. The bowling looks pretty ordinary at this moment, and Guyana seemingly motoring on with ease.
Also getting among the runs was Tyrone Williams Jr. He made 29 from 25 deliveries. The action resumes. This ball is hit down the ground, and I think it has it gone away? Yes, it has gone away for 4 runs. Ball hit in the outfield, and there was a diving attempt by the fielder at that long on position, running away to his left and not being able to get to it, and the ball has gone away for 4. Score now is 81 for 1, and Leon Johnson is on to 19, hitting that ball away from the bowling of Kofi James, is bowling off breaks around the wicket, and this is delicately played down to the third man position. Kadeem Phillip runs back outside the 30-yard from within the 30-yard circle down towards the fine third man area to retrieve, and the batsmen sprint back for the second. 83 now for 1, the Guyanese total. In the 12th over of the innings, Johnson on 21 is the man on strike. Kofi James around the wicket to bowl to him, and he goes back and cuts it away down towards the third man area. Owen Graham is sprinting after it, flicks it back, and they will go for the third. Yes, they're sprinting back for the third run. The return coming in from Graham. Very good running between the two batsmen out in the middle. The ball just guided down to the third man position, and it had a lot in it. It was well timed, and Owen Graham had to really sprint to prevent it from going over the rope. 86 for 1, halfway through the 12th over.
It was well timed, and Johnson is really showing his experience here. He's mixing his strokes, his aggression with and tempering it with some delicate strokes.
James is in, and this is hit along the ground back towards the bowler. He's kept on 24, Leon Johnson. Tyrone Williams in his knock of 29 off 25 hit 2 fours and 2 sixes. Kofi James around the wicket, and Johnson is playing it into the offside. Has to go back into his crease as he goes out towards Graham, coming in very, very quickly from that backward point area. 1 ball left in the 12th over. The target is 138. Guyana 86 for 1. It's the man Bacchus on strike. He's on 32. This is driven down to the wide long on area, and the fielder sprints in and keeps the runs down to 1. So 1 run from that last ball. 87 for 1. 12 overs completed. Bacchus has 33 and Leon Johnson on 24.
Well, the morale of the team, of Team Antigua, Team Master Blaster, seems pretty much down. They're just ambling around, pretty much, in my view, seemingly waiting for that last ball to be bowled, declaring Guyana the winner. They need to lift the spirit. The game is not over. They say that cricket is a game of glorious uncertainties, and all you need to do is to get 1, and 1 bring 2 every time. So they need to stay inside of the game and give themselves a chance.
They're scoring at 7.25. The asking rate is 6.38. So they're well ahead of the requirement at the moment. They have wickets in hand. They have 9 wickets in hand. So, as you said, Guyana realizing that they're on top, and it's going to take something special from the Antigua and Barbuda Master Blasters to stop them. And so they just playing the ball on its merit at the moment. They're not really forcing anything because they don't have to. They just have to continue to pick up the singles. If the boundaries become available, they'll certainly take them, and should be able to win with overs to spare. So we're going to see the start of the 13th. And here is the ball driven down the ground. Nino Henry is operating from the commentary box and driven down the ground. And the ball is picked up by the fielder in that long out position. That's Orlando Peters, and the batsmen are through for single. 88 for 1. Bacchus on 34. Leon Johnson on 24 comes in to strike. And here is Nino Henry. Fast, medium, right arm over the wicket, strides in, and this is steered away down towards the backward point position, and they go for, well, it's going to be an overthrow. The return comes to the bowler's end, and Kerry Mentor trying to effect the run out and not being able to gather the ball, and they got through for a single. The score is now on to 90 for 1 in the 13th over.
If Antigua is to make anything of this game, they can ill afford not to have these overthrows. They need to be more tighter. If I were to be advising the Antiguans, they need to place fielders in more strategic wicket-taking positions.
Outside the off stump and cut away down to the backward point region. The fielder is running around. Will he be able to stop it? No, he does not. And it has gone away for 4. It was short and it was wide outside the line of the off stump. And Johnson played it very, very well. Didn't try to hit it too hard. He timed it beautifully. And it ran down to the backward point boundary for 4. He's on to 30. So he's approaching his highest score in T20 cricket. His highest score is 37 not out. Leon Johnson, captain of Guyana. He's on 30. Robin Bacchus on 34. Here is Nino Henry into bowl to him, and he's driving. Ball goes down towards the wide, straight mid-wicket position. Well, the straight mid-wicket position. And the batsmen are through for another run. Johnson is on to 31. And the score is pushed on to 95 for 1. And we're in the course of over number 13. James, 4 overs. He's completed his allotment. 4 overs, no maidens, none for 30. This is hit high in the air. There's a fielder running in. Will he be able to take the catch? He does. And so that's the end of Bacchus. It looks as if Bacchus, the man who has been dismissed, he has been caught by James of the bowling of Henry for 34. And it's 95 for 2. He was trying to hit that one over the top, miscued the stroke, and it went high in the air. Kofi James ran in from the long on position and took a good catch. Bacchus caught James, bowled Henry 34. Guyana requiring 138 to win and 95 for 2 in the 13th.
Totally unnecessary. We just spoke about how they were just motoring along earlier, knocking the ball into the spaces, into the gaps, getting the ones and the twos, and how the Antiguans were so lackluster, just waiting for something to happen, and they virtually did nothing. In my mind, I thought that ball was more or less a rank long hop, and he just couldn't it.
Yes, he miscued it. He was looking for boundaries, certainly, and not being able to get enough on it. And it skied, and it was a good catch by Kofi James. He had to run off the boundary at long on. And when he actually caught, it was very, very close to that 30-yard circle, even if he was not already in the 30-yard circle. It's an indication of how much running he had to do. But the ball went high in the air, and he took the catch. So, here is a ball which is swung away down to the backward square position by Johnson, and it has gone away for 4. Just pulling that one, it was a dive, but unavailing dive by the fielder in the 30-yard circle at square leg, and it ran away for 4 runs. They're going close to the 100 mark. It's now 99 for 2. Guyana 99 for 2 after 13 overs. There's 7 overs to come. I'm not sure Guyana will need the 7 overs to come, because the target is only 138. Johnson, the captain, is on to 35. The new batsman, Ricardo Adams, I think it's another left-hander who has come out, and he's yet to face. So we have a situation here that 4 batsmen have come out for Guyana, and all left-handers. And traditionally, Guyana have had a string of left-handers in their teams. Even back in the 1970s, they had Roy Fredericks, Clive Lloyd, Alvin Kalicharan, certainly in the top 5 there for Guyana, maybe the top 6. And in recent times, there were Shivnarayan Chandapal, Narsingh Dionarayan, and a few others in the Guyana team with left-handers. So they've had a string of left-handers, Guyana, over the years. And tonight, 4 batsmen who have come to the crease have all been left-handers.
Right, certainly. I think Johnson is really showing that he's a class above the rest, that, he would have represented the West Indies, and he's really motoring along, playing his strokes, picking his spot, and the Antiguans seemingly don't have the answer.
Yes, it's a difficult target to defend as well. It's a difficult total to defend, 137 in a T20 match. The opposition will always believe that they can get that. And conditions are usually favorable. The pitch is a good one for batting. And the bowling certainly doesn't have any real venom in it. With Alzari Joseph and Rakeem Cornwall out of the team, it would have been a lot of pressure on the Antigans, and we have seen that during the course of the innings. They are now 99 for 2, Guyana. This is over number 14 starting, steered away into the offside by, in fact, it's Hemraj who has come out, not Adams. It's Chandrapal Hemraj who has come to the crease, and he gets off the mark, and the 100 comes off of 79 deliveries, the 100 of 79 deliveries for Guyana in 61 minutes. Good going. Very good going by the Guyanese, and the way how it's looking at the moment, Antigua, their backs are certainly against the wall, and they would want something special at this moment to even give themselves a chance.
to win this game.
So it will be Hemraj who will be on strike. He's on 2. So he got a couple to begin with. Hemraj, I think he's batting for the first time. I think this is his first game as well for Guyana in this competition. Chandrapal Hemraj. And he's a left-hander, as we've been saying. And here is Orlando Peters around the wicket of all tip, and he just strokes it into the offside, goes to Kerry Mentor at that extra cover position, coming just a little bit away to his left towards the mid-off area, short to pick that ball up, and there is no run. So the team winning tonight, and Guyana are odds-on favourites to win, would be very, very confident of making Saturday's final. Here is a ball which is punched into the offside square, goes down towards the deep cover point position, and they'll get an easy single for it. Feel having to sprint in because the batsmen were looking for the possibility of coming back, but there was no chance for them to do that. 102 now for 2, halfway through the 14th over of the innings. Hemraj on 3 and Johnson on 35 comes into strike. So he's 2 adrift of his highest score in T20 cricket. Highest score 37 not out. And he's certainly leading the way here. He's the captain of the Guyana team, and he's played a wonderful inning so far. 35 from 22 deliveries. And hasn't really taken any risk. It has been a polished batting display by Leon Johnson. Here's he going back and steering the ball down to the backward point third man area. Kadeem Phillip is around, and the batsmen are through for a quickly taking single. 103 now for 2, and Johnson is on to 36.
Difference between Johnson and Tegans, or the cricket on the whole tonight, is that he has been playing cricket strokes. T20 has a tradition of hitting and missing. He has just played pretty ordinary, stroking the ball into the gaps and dispatching the bad deliveries.
Hemraj is on strike now, and he's beaten by this delivery outside the off stump. Looked to have been a quicker one from Orlando Peters. He put a lot of effort into that. There was a bit more bounce and outside the line of the off stump. And because of the angle, it seemed as if it came back in towards the left hand. He went for a cracking-looking shot off the back foot, but he did not make contact, taken by Thomas. Settles over his bat now as Orlando Peters turns in front of the big side screen at the far end, and he runs in around the wicket, and Hemraj is driving down the ground. Just a push, half drive down to the fielder coming off the boundary at long off. So we've had 14 overs completed, and Guyana needing 138 to win the match and win their second in the competition. They're 104 for 2 with a Johnson on 36 and Chandrapal Hemraj on 4.
104 for 2. Guyana is very much in the driver's seat. And I think that they're playing sensible cricket at the moment, just tucking it around, pushing it into the gaps, and picking off the ones and the twos and dispatching the bad deliveries. Certainly, if they continue in this vein, no doubt maybe in another 2 or 3 overs from now, the game would be all over.
And yes, very much so, because that's one thing about T20 cricket. Sometimes when you have a flurry of runs, then you realize, well, the game is just about over. You may have a few runs to win. And so it changes very, very quickly, T20 cricket. And Guyana now should be able to win this at a canter. 104 for 2 and 6 overs to come. The target 138. So it will be Owen Graham who is into the attack. He's bowled 2 overs for 13 runs. So he's going at 6.5 per over. He goes in a right arm medium pace and turned away into the onside by Hemraj. They're hustling the first run. They'll build no second because the fielder is onto it. That looks to be Kofi James onto that one, picking the ball up. Or is it Nino Henry? And just tossing the ball across to Graham. Polishes it and stands at the top of his mark. Not a long run, So a few paces he's in, and it's driven into the onside, this time down to long on. And the fielder, that looks to be Kofi James, so it would have been Nino Henry at that wide mid-wicket.
Like Henry.
Yes, wide mid-wicket position. Kofi James is down here at long on. He did the fielding. It's 106 now for 2. And we're in the course of the 15th over of the innings. So they need to score 5.65. So they're asking, we're dropping all the time. Here is he going for a big drive. Doesn't quite get hold of it. It comes off the inner lower part of the bat and runs down to fine leg. Only 1 run there for Leon Johnson. He's on to 37 now. And Hemorrhage on 6 comes into strike. Or is it Hemorrhage who got that single?
It looks like.
Yes, Hemorrhage got the single. He's on to 6. And Johnson comes into strike. He's on 37. His highest score in T20 cricket. And he's slashing this ball away down towards the backward point region. And gets a single. He's on to 38 now. And score on to 108 for 2. So it's becoming easier as the game progresses for Guyana. 34 backers got opening the batting. Rutherford got 28. They had an opening partnership of 50. And they got to those runs in relatively quick time. Rutherford was the first to go. He was caught by Orlando Peters off the bowling of Phillip for 28. 50 for 1 in the 7th. His ball is hit high in the air, would have been fall safely. And Kofi James comes off the boundary inside the 30-yard circle at long on. Running from long on into the circle to pick that ball up. And the batsman now through for 1. 1 ball left in the 15th. It's now 109 for 2. So they need now, in terms of runs needed for victory, they need, 29 more runs? This ball is whipped, an attempted whip off the pads and not being able to make contact. The over has come to an end. We have had, 15 overs completed, 109 for 2, with 38 coming from the bat of Leon Johnson. Chandrapal Hemorrhage has 7. And to take it to the end after further comments from Odwin Jarmers Walsh, who will be putting on his pajamas in a not too distant time. It will be the voice of Denmore Roberts.
Most certainly, and the way it looks, it looks as if I'm going to have an earlier bedtime than anticipated. To what I was noticing, I think if the Master Blasters would give themselves a chance, they need to put fielders in positions where they could take wicket. Having the field spread is just perhaps preliminaries, just suggesting that they have given up and just waiting for the Guyanese to hit this winning run.
Yep, just waiting for the Guyanese to hit the winning run as they literally going through the motions. But it's going to be Nino Henry who's going to try. He's going to be in his second over. First over, he had 1 wicket, but 12 runs coming from it. So he's coming from the southern end, the Sir Andy Roberts end. We say good evening to you if you're listening to us overseas. Here is this delivery. He's in and he's hit away over the mid-wicket region. There's a fielder posted on the boundary. He comes in to action, and the batsman only comes through for a single. So Johnson goes on to 38 and brings Hemorrhage into strike. Or was that Hemorrhage who hit that one and brings Johnson now into strike? Yes, it's Johnson who is on strike. The Hemorrhage got his 8th run. 38 is Johnson. The total on to 110 for 2. So they require another 28 runs or 4.5 overs. This delivery, he's edging it down to a wide third man, steering it basically down to Shadrach Jr., who's on the boundary. There's no run. So the ploy failed in terms of the pace bowlers for the Master Blasters. They got nothing from Shadrach Jr. and the Samuel Peters. Both were expensive, and it has forced Captain Kerry Mentor to try other options. We saw Owen Graham, we saw Kadim Phillip, we even saw Kofi James as options. This is Nino Henry, who's in, and this delivery struck away high and hard over the mid-wicket region. It's 6 runs. It was a short delivery, and he just pivoted Hemorrhage and struck it very hard over the mid-wicket region. Didn't even bother to move. 6 runs to the total. It's on to 117 for 2. And they're really going on quickly, the Guyanese.
And that was more of a long hop. And I think that even you, Denmo, would have relished.
No, you couldn't bowl me that in my day. Definitely, that was meat and drink type of delivery. It was just banged into the pitch short and asked to be hit by Nino Henry. And it was really hit hard by Hemorrhage. When we were smaller, we used to call it a blind shot because he didn't really look at it. He picked up the line and he really just turned his head and swung that bat. And it sailed over the mid-wicket region for 6 runs. Nino Henry's in again, and this time he's driving, gets it off the inner portion of the bat, wants the second run, but not on as the fielder coming off that long on boundary was quickly around to do the fielding that looks to be Benter. And they come through just for a run. So Hemorrhage on the 15, Johnson on the 39, 118. It is for 2. The Guyanese, they require 20 runs for victory. Here is Nino Henry. Sprints in now, in and bowls to Johnson. And Johnson is dropping it off the offside and takes off and gets a single. 3 fielders were converging for Antigua and Barbuda. None of them could get there quickly enough to stop the single for the Guyanese. And Johnson gets his 40th run. It's now 119 for 2. Brings Hemorrhage onto strike. So, their run rate required is 4.56. They're currently scoring at a rate of 7.52. So, the Guyanese well ahead of the situation. 19 runs required. We watch as here is Nino Henry in to bowl to Hemorrhage. And Hemorrhage is hitting this one out into the mid-wicket region, into the straightish mid-wicket region for an easy single. 120 for 2 at the end of the over. Johnson is 40, Hemorrhage is 16. The Guyanese are cruising, and they're cruising towards victory.
Easy going for Guyana at the moment, and it's certainly been the troops have been marshaled, or the batting has been marshaled by Johnson. Like I alluded earlier, Johnson has shown a class above the rest in this game, where he dictates and controls. He played strokes all over the field, and the Antiguans certainly don't have an answer at this moment. I think that what they need to do, and I was saying that to you earlier, they need to give themselves a chance, is either the Guyanese win this game handsomely, quite quickly, by them placing fielders in strategic places to get wickets. They have the field spread. Only 1, 2, 3, 4 men are in the circle, and certainly if Johnson and Hemorrhage continue to play in this vein, it will be easy picking, no matter an over.
First delivery of the new over by Owen Graham is swung at by Hemorrhage, missing it. It goes through to Devon Thomas behind the stumps, and there's no run. When we saw Benter in the side this evening, we were thinking that Devon Thomas might have been tempted to give the gloves up to Benter and go back to his old shenanigans of wanting to bowl. However, he has decided to keep the gloves on, and I think that's a good move. Here's his delivery. Hit high over the backward square position for 6. It was a short delivery from Graham on the line of the leg stump, and Hemorrhage just pivoted, hit it high and hard over backward square, easily for 6 runs. 126 for 2, 12 required.
Meat and drink. Earlier we had some snacks, we had some drink, and I'm thinking that must be even easier or sweeter to